Hello, and welcome to episode 56 of the Chronicles of Nidum, run by us at Dice of the Beholder and streamed on the wonderful Heavyweight Gaming, who refuses to count me in every time. No, I don't know why. I don't know what I've done, but apparently I've done something. Yes, so welcome to episode 56. Before we get into the episode, before we get into the game, as always, a word from our sponsors, or about our sponsors. First of all is the wonderful Loki Battle Mats, who are an amazing, award-winning UK-based TTRPG accessory creator. There are many books of battle maps, little, big, and giant sizes, are full of amazing artwork and add an awesome backdrop to any tabletop game. So if you are interested in finding out more, please search Loki Battle Mats on Facebook, that's L-O-K-E, or click the link in the chat to visit their website, which is lokibattlemats.com, to view more of their amazing artwork and shop their physical and digital maps. The thing you can do on their website now and get in there as soon as possible, you have 4 days left, is sign up for the notification of their Kickstarter going live, which goes live on the 11th of this month for their Wilderness dual set their Wilderness books of battle maps. I've watched a lot of them being created on Loki Battle Mats. They do a late stream on a Monday night, and just the few I've been able to see the process of look fantastic. So yeah, please pop over to Loki Battle Mats and get involved in their Kickstarter. I've got just enough cash squirreled away to be able to get in there straight away on the 11th. So I'm looking forward to it. Second sponsor, as always, a lot of you have seen their work by now. A lot of you, in fact, have their work or own it. Is Blink Dog Dice. All one word. Please search up Blink Dog Dice on most social media platforms or Twitter, Facebook. But especially, please pop over to their Etsy store, where you can see many, many examples of their fantastic, amazing work, which have rolled, I believe, quite well for most of my players, I think. Though I did kill a player with some Blink Dog Dice. She got better, but I did almost kill one of my players with some Blink Dog Dice. But yes, please pop over and indulge your Dice Goblin obsession with some nice math rocks over on Blink Dog Dice on their Etsy store and support our 2 good friends. Apart from that, AD, if you want to bring everyone up on screen.
Hi.
Hello. Yes. Yes. Hello. How is everyone?
Good.
Good.
Everyone's looking very pretty. Greg, where's your makeup?
Where's yours?
Yeah.
I'm wearing makeup. This is
Wow.
the I'm not wearing makeup look.
Oh yeah, I've gone real natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. This is my natural eyeshadow.
Yeah.
Rich,
Yes.
I just think you should clarify for people that you didn't nearly kill a player with Blink Dog Dice. You nearly killed my character.
No, I fed them to you. You choked on them, and then I gave you the Heimlich maneuver, and everything was good again.
And I was asleep the entire process. Fairly
No,
dead.
I almost killed a player character, not a player.
Just important.
I suppose it is important. We haven't actually, not admitting to attempted murder on a live on the internet. Yes, is everyone ready to play some D&D?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Greg, you muted?
Is that what we were doing here? I thought we were going to do.
Stardew Valley?
Something.
Stardew Valley? No.
Yeah, I thought we were going to do something fun instead.
How dare.
This is where he just boots you from the call.
Anyway, I'm not the host. I can't. Without further ado, Chronicles of Nidum. Last time, after lifting the curse from the Angel of Ashes and the corruption on Wodan's temple, the angel's memories returned enough for him to disclose his identity to you. He was Munin, raven messenger of Odin, member of the pantheon that Ace worships. He thanked you for your aid, and you were quickly thanked again when, leaving the temple, you found Odin waiting for you, happy that you had finally restored a center of worship in the north of Sharlem for him. You decided, for the first time in a long time, to spend the night under the open sky as you had in your childhood and had many times on your trip to this point. The next morning, though, you did wake early and travel to the station after picking up your new companion, One, to board the train to the capital. You have to navigate, again, Charlem's caste system, but it eventually allowed you to gain entry onto the train, securing yourself a private compartment. And quite quickly, you found yourselves departing to the heart of Charlem in relative safety and comfort. Until that safety was somewhat threatened by a familiar face, bumping into a couple of you, actually, literally bumping into one of you. And it is when they almost bump into the second one that we left you. As you, Dice, were looking around the train, looking to see what the plight of the human or slave passengers at the back of the train was, you opened a door and found yourself invisible, but facing Natasha, the elven assassin you had met many months ago. Natasha swung for you, I believe.
Sorry, is Shah her surname? Is her first name Nata? Is she Nata Shah or is she Nata Shah?
You don't know.
She Natasha.
Well, yeah, I
No,
know. But
she's Natasha.
We've never clarified with her. We've never had that long a conversation with her, to be honest.
maybe she gave you a hat. Okay, I'm in the zone.
Okay, so she swings for you. However, you are invisible. The only reason she knows you're there is because you spoke.
Yeah.
So, with disadvantage, give me a second. Where's her stats? There she is. Okay, with disadvantage, that's going to be a 14.
Yeah, no, she misses.
Okay. You see the fist fly up from her body. It sails wide over your shoulder. She starts to blink and look around, her eyes darting quickly. Her ears prick up as if trying to discover or find a new sound, trying to determine where you are. What do you do?
Is it just Dice in the room with her?
Yeah.
Yes.
I wandered off. I went, pretended I was going next door, knocked to speak to the Dragon Ball, and then just disappeared. Could you not do that? Since you sent us a note, I figured, at some point you'd like to speak to us. Beating me up now is not going to facilitate that conversation.
Her stance relaxes slightly. Her hands don't quite fall to her side, but you can see as she folds her arms across herself, all she's doing is putting her hands closer to the dagger she has on, well, underarm sheaths. In fact, now as you check out her clothing, you can see daggers coming from about 50 different small tears in her leather armor. Show yourself.
Actually, I'd really rather not. It's a fairly high-level spell, and I am hoping to deliver some food and water to the humans before it wears off. And it lasts for an hour, so it would be a real waste of magic to turn it off.
Name yourself.
Nice. Redhead, curly hair. Although currently I look like a half-orc underneath the invisibility, so that probably wouldn't have helped you anyway.
The Tinkerer.
That's a little bit of an understatement on what I'm capable of, but sure, the Tinker.
I could have called you the hobbyist. At least tinkerers have some skill. I would have taken it as a compliment, but I suppose you do not know me that well.
You should see my new armor. It's quite the hobby.
Show
Anyway,
yourself, and I will.
but I don't want to do that, because I don't like wasting spells.
Fine.
Come on, you must have been hunted enough that you don't want to waste skills.
I would have thought that with my message being received by your friends, then you would have at least waited a couple of days.
We're not very good at that. And anyway, I'm not doing anything to interfere with your plans. I am honestly just going to check if the humans have food and water, and if not, I'm going to deliver it, hopefully without them ever seeing me. That's it.
A strange armored human walking about the train at night, visiting the other humans when they should not be, is not interfering with my plans.
Yes, no.
You
You can tell
presume
us-
much, not knowing what my plans are.
And you presume much that a simple note saying, meet me in 3 days is going to be enough to stop us doing other things. We don't know you that well. We met you once, tried to kill us a bit, and then you gave us a hat and went away. You're not the most trustworthy person either.
You have met me 6 times. You may not have known, but you have met me 6 times. The second time, in fact, you did know. It was in the hall of the father.
Probably.
Perhaps if we ever sit down in safety, I will give you, well, explain when the other times were.
Interesting. Okay. Well, keep in mind that you say a strange armored human walking around delivering food and water in your pants. You forgot to mention invisible human. Nobody else knows I'm here except you. And that's only because I nearly walked into you. And had I not already known it was you, I would have moved to a side. But I figured this would be more fun.
There are guards down there. They are awake. They will be for perhaps another 2 hours until they go to sleep. There is no shift change. If you want to walk about completely stealthily, you may want to wait a little.
Noted. I wasn't sure of the how the guards worked for the humans, or even if they would bother guarding them. I figured they probably wouldn't. Them being, humans, we're mostly cattle.
They have perhaps heard of a plan some human rebels have to free the trade goods in the rear carriages that they inhabit, and security has been increased slightly.
Is there a plan to free the cows? No.
Perhaps.
Now that is interesting.
There are 9 plans.
Seems excessive, but okay.
Give me 3 days to gather more information on the train, and I will tell you which of those plans I have whittled it down to.
All right. Well, it may interest you to know that break the cuffs if any of them are wearing cuffs from Albion.
Trust me when I say I have been doing this for a lot longer than you have.
Well, that's very nice, but I was offering to help, and you can either take it or not. Don't have to be insulting about it.
I'm not being insulting. However, not having an artificer on hand as your small traveling group does, I have my own means. And she pulls out a key ring, and it's full of identical silver keys. The first thing that you notice, though, is it's strange. It looks like a keyring. They're shaped like keys. Apart from the fact there are no notches on any of them. It is almost as if someone has forged or smelted a key, and it's full of silver keys before they're cut into shape.
Thanks.
Not so much. And she jingles it, and it is like music to you.
It's like bells. Nice. It would be more useful to train up a tinker of your own.
As an artificer, I'm not even going to make you roll. She is holding quite a large wealth of chimes of opening.
Oh, that's why it sounds so pretty.
You can, I think they're on your list. You can quite easily just make them
I could make one.
Chime of Opening is one of your infusion, isn't it?
It is, but I'd have to drop my cloak or my boots or something I value far more.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean, I think Charlie's.
No, 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 no.
See?
You were saying?
Indeed.
All right. So in 3 days' time, you are going to decide which of your plans you want us to help with. Or stay out of your way on. Which is it that you're aiming for here, just so I understand. And I can convince more reluctant members of my group to help, if that's what you desire.
In 3 days' time, I will have whittled it down to a plan. I may need your aid. I may not. Only 3 of the 9 plans involve you, now you are here. There were 6 plans before you appeared. However, at least one of those plans is in my top 3 at the moment.
You should know our capabilities have changed a bit since we last saw you.
So have mine.
Says invisible in the hall.
Meet me in 3 days. We will see.
All right. I have one last question. You gave the note to Sepsis, who is generally not inclined to help unless there is something in it for them. That was an interesting choice. Why did you make that choice?
If I want the meeting and the giving of the note to remain secret, who better to give it to than the one who keeps secrets even from you?
Yes, it's very comforting in a friend. I love it personally as a trait.
I make it a point of living to
Right,
not have friends.
How do you know Sepsis keeps secrets from us? That's something I discovered only recently. Why would you know?
Takes one to know one.
Doesn't inspire much confidence in you either.
No, but I am very attracted to them.
You're attracted to Sepsis, you may as well be attracted to a rock. Nothing will happen there. Nice try, though. But you're welcome to flirt with them because it's funny.
I had a thing for a Goliath once, so I know something about being attracted to a rock.
I don't want to picture that in my head. So thanks. So 2 hours and the guards will have gone to sleep, yes?
Yeah.
Thank you for the information.
Try not to get yourself found or killed.
Try not to punch random people in the face until if someone is invisible in front of you and goes, hey, can you move? Chances are they're probably not aggressive. Otherwise, they'd have hit you first.
Not in my experience.
Welcome to a new experience. And then I'm going to wander off back to the carriage. As I walk back in, though, I'll drop both the disguise self and the invisibility so that when I walk back in, I don't look like I've been doing something shady.
Okay. Yeah. You hear no one following you. No footsteps, nothing.
I'm sure she's there. I have no doubts that she's following me anyway.
Okay. Do you look back?
No.
Okay. After a few moments, then you do return to the carriage. Your friend's still awake inside. You haven't been gone for long.
I walk in and go, God, that toilet is horrible. Why is it always trained toilets that are gross? Hey, while I was sort of peeing, I ran into our new friend.
Which one?
Natasha.
Natasha.
Natasha. Yeah, I ran into her.
The red-headed elven beastie
The one who
thing.
dropped the note on Sepsis, yeah.
Right.
Few interesting points.
Oh God. Okay.
Do tell.
So I have a little bit more information about what her plans might be. Sorry,
Is there something behind you, Dice?
Yes, a pair of dogs. She said that she is looking for a plan to free the humans. I said, the cattle, moo. She didn't find it funny. She has 9 plans, 3 of which could involve us. I asked why, if she wanted our help with something, she would give the note to Sepsis. No offense, Sepsis.
Some taken.
You're just not always the most inclined to help unless there
Oh,
is
I
something.
absolutely don't want to help.
There we go, you see. It just seemed like an odd choice. Turns out she really fancies you, so you've got that going for you. Congratulations. And she once was really attracted to a Goliath, so she knows what it's like to be attracted to a rock.
I'm not a rock.
No, I didn't say you were. But she's been attracted to a rock before. She has diverse tastes.
It sounds like you're trying to justify the idea that someone might be attracted to me by saying, but don't worry too much because their taste is pretty weird anyway.
Actually, nothing to do with that. I'm just giving a relay of the conversation that we had in probably the most awkward place I've ever had a conversation like this. Then, yeah, odd place to have a conversation. Then she said, in 3 days' time, she will have decided which of her plans to go forward with. It will either include us or not. I said she'd probably have to have some pretty damn good reasons why we would get involved. And then I came back here, and here I am. So
It probably wouldn't
Welcome
need to
back.
be that good. You guys will pretty much get involved in anything.
yeah, we probably would, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I didn't want her to know that.
Oh, that's a shame. She's probably listening.
Honestly, almost definitely. Also, oh, that was the other thing. I said, we've only met you once. And she was like, you've met me at least twice that you know of, because she was there with Father in the hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I had forgotten, it has to be said. But she said, we've actually met her about 6 times. And we didn't know it.
When?
So I have no idea. So she keeps putting on different faces and then encountering us. I think we have a stalker, personally, or Sepsis has a stalker.
Great.
I
How
don't know
flattering.
if that's better that it's just sepsis or if it's better that it's all of us.
I honestly don't know. I don't know. That's why it took me so long. I'm sorry, guys. But is there any bread left? Oh, yeah. I'll go back to eating. I don't know what we do with that
Interesting.
without more information anyway.
No.
Oh, that was the other thing. The clunking noise next door. Did you know these seats turn into beds?
Oh.
No.
Ah, look, you just
Enough
do
for
this.
all of us?
And I chivvy people off the beds.
After a while and a little bit of kind of
I'm
testing,
an artist.
after a little bit of testing, you discover that the backs of the seats actually lock up halfway up the wall of the carriage, like bunk beds. And then the actual seat the bit that you sit on folds out to become a slightly larger or longer or wider bed. There is enough room for all of you to comfortably sleep, as long as at least 2 of you don't mind doubling up.
I get to share with Ori.
Yeah.
And Sepsis, unless you want to cuddle.
I'm okay to share.
You don't want to cuddle, Sepsis?
No.
But Snuggles.
I guess it depends if one is comfortable sharing with one of us.
It's okay if not. You don't know us that well, one.
Only 2 need to share. There's 5 of us and 4 beds.
Yeah, me and Ori will share. We've shared a lot over the years anyway.
I misinterpreted. I thought it was 2 lots of 2, not 1 lot of 2.
Are you sure you weren't just coming on to one?
No. They're my
Ace
friends.
has a dandelion waiting.
I do.
I didn't know whether you'd discussed being
Oh,
exclusive.
I still haven't sent a message to him for you.
I thought we had previously.
Oh yeah, we had. I could send another one,
Yeah, it's been like a month.
If we get a chance, I have a message I would like to ask you to send. If we get a chance when Ace doesn't want to do so, it's fine. I just wanted to send a message to my mum.
You can
I
send a
can do that.
message to your mum. I'm sure Dandelion won't mind.
You sure? I don't want to use any of your power though, Ori, if you think we're going to need it for something more important.
I mean, how likely are one of you to start a fight on a train
I mean, I'm going to
in
try
the
real
next
hard not
24
to.
hours?
I mean,
It
I
is-
didn't
it
expect
is-
the
Sounds like
last one
Dice
to
almost
happen.
did.
It is about an hour, maybe 2, before you'd think about settling down for a night's rest. So
I have
know.
time.
No, what I mean is, you
Energy, yeah. I
you
know.
may probably get a long rest before
Yeah.
you'd have to use it again. So
I could do it about 10 times, so
That's excessive. Well, I would really like to send a message to my mum and just let her know that I'm still, breathing and stuff, because I'm not sure she knows.
okay, well, 25 words or less.
Okay. Let me think for a second. Hi, Mama. No, that's 2 words already. You see, I can't count today already. It's been a long day. Hi, Mama. I am okay. I miss you. How are Elsa and Anna? I love you. It's Dice. Via Ori.
I think she's gonna recognize. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll send. Yeah, okay. And I sent that.
okay. Do me a favor.
Oh, just before you send it, I add on to the end. I'm in Shalem. There's pastry.
Ori, roll a percentile dice.
Please don't make Ori do wild magic touches on the train.
So D100 and a D10, please.
I thought it wasn't wild magic to do sending.
So I'm in a bidding war a second. A percentile dice, yeah?
Yes, please.
$28.
28. No problem. As you sit there, then you feel the magic surge in you. You repeat the message the dice has given you. And after a moment, you hear a familiar female Shalem accent come back to you over the ether. I'm glad to receive this message from you. I am glad you and Oi and Es and your strange little friend are well. I miss you.
Well, she didn't really answer any
It
of it.
is slightly muffled, which is jarring, as every message that's come through previously is clear. This one sounds like she's talking to you from the bottom of a well. Roll me an Arcana check, Ori.
I didn't win the bid. It went to over £100 in the last seconds. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10. You can't really bring to mind at the moment what could be affecting the spell. You haven't heard of an effect like this before, or at least if you have, you just can't remember. You can make out the words, it just sounds strange.
Weird.
What is?
It's muffled.
I wonder if they've hidden it somehow, the new place of the name that I will not say, but I wonder if they've hidden it and it's a barrier of some kind.
It could be. I mean, I can make out what they're saying. I've obviously told you what I heard. But it sounded like they're at the bottom of a well.
Can I roll an Arcana check against it?
Yeah, if you want to.
Based on the description. And I don't have my character sheet open. Professional player. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Arcana check. Oh, it's going to be 15 plus 8. I'm having a brain pot. 23?
23.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having studied these spells in the hopes that one day possibly being able to learn them, infuse objects with them, like sending stones and other such things, the only effect you can remember, the only thing that would affect the spell in this way is maybe if the recipient was on a different plane. there's a chance that it may not work, or that the spell may be affected in some way by the recipient not being on the same plane as you.
Oh, I have an idea.
Mhm.
So do you remember that Marcus's house is extraplanar? No, it's in its own plane, right? Its own
Demi-plane.
demi-plane. Thank you. Yeah. We went to the house and it was on a different plane,
Yeah.
a private one. I wonder if they've done the same for the town, and that's why it's being kept safe, because that's the only thing I can think of that would stop sending being clear, and could affect whether the message would get through too.
Yeah, maybe it could be.
That's a big demiplane to create, though. The house he had wouldn't have been big enough for all of the families, so I wonder if they've taken some, but not. I don't know. That's interesting. We should keep that in mind.
It's worth keeping an eye on.
Chances are we'll find out sometime in about 6 years' time.
Probably.
Yeah. Thank you, Ari.
Not a problem. Ace? Did you want me to send Dandelion a message?
Maybe tomorrow. I think
Okay.
I'd like to think about what I want to ask.
Okay.
There was one other message I thought at some point we should try and send and see if it fails.
And what one's that?
Matron mother. I'm curious whether she died. A relatively easy way to tell, as long as she's still in this plane of existence. As it turns out, that's variable.
I can try.
But it could be worth a shot, and then maybe I can help Sarah Hesh, give her some information, maybe. If you,
Sure.
again, if you this is not an urgent.
No, I can.
Dead or not.
Guys, seriously, I'll be fine. I'll sleep tonight. It's not a great effort.
Okay.
The biggest effort is keeping things to 25 words.
That is hard.
So what am I asking? Just, hello, are you alive?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Is there anybody out there?
Is there anybody out there?
Give us a sign.
How about
Behind.
how about, are you alive? Did anyone return from front lines?
Front line's one word.
It can be.
Could be, yeah, front lines. Sarah Hesh is okay. There you go. At least you're updating her on her daughter, because I doubt they're able to communicate right now. That's it.
I try sending that to Matron Mother.
Okay. Not going to make you roll this time. The magic surges within you. You feel it leave, speed out into the night.
Pinky.
You feel the message receive. You feel it reach its recipient. 10 seconds goes by. 20 seconds. A minute. Time moving ever so slowly in the silence as you await a response that does not come.
Was the matron mother able to sell, or did she able to send? Sorry, or was she going through the orc?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Sorry, sent the message
Doesn't
anyway.
matter. Yeah, anyone can reply to me if I send it first.
Oh, okay.
That's otherwise Dandelion would have a problem.
I mean, there might be someone he knows.
Interesting. But you
Yeah,
say
there's nothing.
you felt it arrive, though, you said.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when I tried to with Benkin, there was nothing. But I felt like it got where it was meant to go.
Maybe she's just not able to reply just now.
Could be.
You know
Perhaps
enough
she's
about
not
this.
interested in
Not
talking
able
to
to.
us.
You know enough about this spell that people can either choose not to reply at all, or the other reason that it might feel like it's been received but there's no response is because they are unconscious.
She could be asleep.
Does anyone have the ability to scry? Not necessarily available to them at the moment, but do you have the ability?
No.
Oh.
Well, that's a pickle.
I could try learning.
Is there such a thing as a scroll of scrying? We've still got a lot of scrolls.
No, but I do read tarot cards.
Try that. I don't think you'd get a definitive answer.
Probably not.
They're really definitive.
It depends on how much you believe in that sort of thing, which is weird because, you know, I can cast spells and I can send messages over hundreds and hundreds of miles. And even I'm dubious about what the cards say sometimes, although they are eerily creepy sometimes, like accurate.
You can certainly try it. While you're doing that, I'm going to send a message of my own. I have a thought. Carry on. Talk amongst yourselves.
I'm going to use sending for myself now.
Okay.
I'm going to send a message to Jaris.
Okay.
Bounty hunter boy.
Yeah, how long have we've just got on the train, haven't we? How long have we been on the train?
You've been on the train maybe, what time is it now? Maybe 12 hours?
12 hours. Cool.
We've only had
Yeah, so I'm just sending a message to say on the train. So on our way. And then I wrote it down. I still can't remember what 2 seconds. Because I can't remember names. I remember his name. So, just to confirm, Broken Sun, Scimitar, Southern Quarter. I just send that, just confirming that.
Mm-hmm.
So, on our way, Broken Sun, Scimitar, Southern Quarter.
It does take a beat. But before long, you do get a response. And it is purely, okay.
Man of so many words. But he knows.
That's all he said. Okay.
Yeah, he literally just said okay. But I mean, the whole point of my message was to let him know that we're still upholding our end of the bargain.
He's the kind of person that you text like 12 paragraphs to, and they respond with, okay.
Oh, so someone with
My
a death
least
wish.
favorite type.
Especially,
Right?
especially when you still used to have to spend 10 pence per text message. What do you fancy doing tonight? Dunno.
Oh, I see you're made of money.
But yes, you wanted to send a message, Dice?
Yeah.
I am here. I dropped my pen.
You're using your sending stone?
Sending stone. Oh,
Okay.
which, by the way, I want to talk to you about seeing if I can work out how magic works on the stones. See if I could work out a way of using an item to do a sending spell, like once a day or something, instead of sending it to another stone. If I could send it to a recipient the same way as the spell works by studying bugs.
Okay.
That's it. But that's just while I'm thinking about it. So I'm going to get out the sending stone and go, hey, you.
Always on the run, gotta slow it down, baby, wanna have some fun.
So, hey, you.
That's a lot of
Right.
words. That's a lot of words you've just used up by singing to your girlfriend.
No. Hey, you. Tried to message mother. Was received no answer. Scrying would be better. Perhaps elderly cleric may be able to love you.
Okay. After a moment, you do again then receive with crystal clarity. Thank you for trying. I have already tried myself with the cleric, but unfortunately had as much luck as you have. I will keep trying. Love you also.
I have this horrible suspicion that the elves took her.
Possible.
I mean, yes, she was a bitch to us, but she was also nice in equal measures, you know? Don't want her to be conscious somewhere and be unable to help. We're a long way from being able to help right now anyway.
Yeah, we're not helping. We can't.
Sucks balls. This is my sulky face.
We should just get some sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to sit and fiddle with 2 of the spare sending for a bit. I had a couple of ideas about messaging things between us to see if we could chain some sending stones together to make like a group sending thing, so we can message each other no matter where we are without using spells once a day. And I also had an idea about if I could use one to basically cast a sending spell to anywhere once a day, but I don't know if either's possible. I'm just going to sit and fiddle for a bit and see if I can figure anything out. We have enough of them. Look, and I hold up a bunch of rocks. What do we do with these?
Throw them at people?
No.
We could get a catapult, like a little slingshot.
We do that with normal rocks instead of the special magic rocks.
It would definitely send a message.
I resign. I'm leaving the call. I'll do the jokes around here, Brian.
I'm just not going to acknowledge this. So Rich,
No,
I'm just gonna fiddle until everyone goes to sleep to see if I can start getting an understanding of how they work, to see how I could adapt them to what I want them to do.
Okay.
Or if they're adapted.
How long do you want to spend on it? Do you want a long rest if you wake at the same time as everyone else? Do you care about waking at the same time as everyone else?
No. What I care about is waiting 2 hours and going back down to see humans.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for everyone to go to sleep.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, then roll me an Arcana check. The rest of you, you're just going to... Oriana, you're just going to go straight to sleep?
How much of my book did I manage to get read?
Did you make a note of it? Did you make a note of how much you read?
I did not make a note of it.
Mill?
I think you said 10 hours and I put it somewhere. I need a new notebook.
Okay.
I think
10
you said 10
hours
hours.
already.
I've done 10 hours already.
Yeah.
No, me and Ace, well, I was still reading in the cart.
So was Ori. Ace
So was
went
Ori.
to the dining cart with sepsis.
That was it. Yeah, I think me and Ori,
Yes.
Me and Ori
you
had-
and Ori had 10 hours of reading done so far.
10 hours so far. Yeah, I'm just going to go to bed. I'd rather go to make sure I get a full rest and then start reading in the morning again.
Okay.
So I just take a long rest, yeah?
In a moment, I'll tell you. Ace, is there anything you would like to do before you go to bed?
You're muted, love.
Sorry.
Maybe just check in with one and see how they're coping with everything.
Okay. One has in fact slept for most of the day, and even though they've woken up and conversed with you a little this evening after you returned from your meal as they were eating with Dice and Oriana when you got back, they seem perfectly fine, but still like shattered. Like this is the first time they've been able to relax in a while, and the way their eyes are kind of drooping now at the moment, they look like they could do easily another 8 hours, at least.
I won't leave them up too late, then I'll just settle to sleep myself.
Okay. One does take the floor, finding it, saying that even though it is the softest place she's had to actually sleep in a long while was sitting up in a train carriage, it's still slightly uncomfortable and she prefers the hard floor beneath her.
Now she's lying on the cold hard ground.
So yes, she pops down onto the floor between everyone, and you can hear the soft snoring start up again almost immediately. Ace, you gonna go to sleep? Cool. Sepsis.
Yes.
You're going to go to sleep?
Yeah, it's just me causing trouble tonight.
Okay. What was your Arcana check, Dice?
I did it with guidance because
Okay.
I know exactly what I'm looking at here. And it came to, hang on, 21.
21. Okay. With your experience of how the sending spell works, conversations you've had in passing with Oriana, your teachers, your understanding of the infusions of spells onto mundane items, it doesn't take long for you to get to grips with the sending stone before you. It's a very, very simple enchantment for what it is. Spell activated once per day. You understand better than most with your knowledge of the workings of the arcane, not just the words to cast a spell. You understand better than most that time and distance is fluid. It does not
not a
truly
construct.
exist, at least when magic comes into play. Which is why a sending spell is as easy as speaking to the person next to you, because as far as magic can tell, they are. It would take a little bit more study, but you've got a good solid grounding for putting together either a spell or an item or a group of items that could send spells over a short distance, chained, and almost unlimited times during the day, as if you could just speak constantly into them, and maybe someone 100, 200 feet away, as long as there wasn't a sufficient barrier between you, could hear you as if you were standing right next to them. Or you could probably work a way of infusing one of the stones with, or improving the enchantment on one of the stones so it didn't need a pair. It would just send to anyone.
How many sending stones did we have?
I believe, give me a second, because
I can. Oh, you saved it the next time, did you?
yeah, I've still got the note saved in my sticky notes list. You have 9 pairs left.
Okay, that's what
You
I
had
thought. Yeah, we
10
had 10
pairs
originally.
of sending stones.
Yeah, it's actually what I search whenever I want the list in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my current thinking as an initial thing, because I'd like to have multiple ways to contact my friends in an emergency. What happened with Ori freaked me out a little bit, that something was happening to Ori, and it was only because Ori had sending that we were able to know something was going wrong. If trouble and she'd been hurt, we wouldn't have been able to tell, and she wouldn't have been able to tell us. If it was Ace who was in trouble, for example. So my initial thinking was to take 4 of the stones and link them together, 2 pairs, but not treat them as pairs. Have it either so the one stone could send a message to all 3 at once, or you could send a message to one other stone once per day. So it's only adjusting the spell a little bit was the initial thinking. And then I might do some other stuff with the other ones, because we've got a lot of sending stones to play with, and sending's quite powerful for a lot of situations. So that's the first thing I'd like to do is take 2 of these pairs. I know it's not going to be immediate, but take 2 of these pairs and convert them to communicate either as a group, or so the one message can be sent to one, and they'll have like a unique identifier. So I could message just Ori, just Ace, or just Sepsis, or everyone.
Okay. It's going to take you a lot longer than tonight.
Oh yeah, and I've also got a book to read.
You would need maybe a week, maybe 2 of downtime.
Or I just work on it for a couple of hours a night for months and months and months, and eventually I'll get there. But I'll read the book first, but this was the first.
Okay.
Also, I'm hoping it will help me link up what I want to do with Sepsis with the crystals and altering how magic works within things. So,
okay. Cool. All right.
Sorry, everyone. I know
And
that was probably really boring.
it's fine.
Not at all.
So, 2 hours later, you can hear the soft snores, the heavy breathing of everyone around you as they are rocked gently to sleep by the passage of the train. You're still awake.
I'm going to slide out of the bed, cast Disguise Self as though I'm going to the toilet, so I'll change myself back into the half-orc.
You want to do so without anyone knowing?
Ideally, if anyone wakes up, I'll explain, but
Okay.
well, sort of.
So roll a stealth check for me then.
Like, do I get advantage because I'm still wearing my cloak and boots?
Yeah.
Am I wearing my boots? I'm in bed. Do I wear these
No,
things
you
in bed?
would. You didn't get you didn't get into bed.
That's true.
You just
I
sat
haven't
on the
even-
bed tinkering.
I haven't bothered taking anything off, so. And I have been shifting around all night
Are
anyway.
you sharing a bed with Oriana? Because usually when people get into bed with her and Tinker, this is how it goes.
There
Yeah,
is
no-
a spare bunk though.
Can guidance be used on stealth checks if you know that you're going to do it before you start moving? It's a check, technically.
You
Waffle
haven't.
has cast Stinking Cloud.
Well, you haven't told me what the role is yet. So yes, you can cast guidance.
I haven't rolled it yet. That's what I was asking. Okay.
I am in Spain without the S.
As a stealth check, then with advantage, that is going to be 15, I can't maths. 15, 20, 21, 22, 23.
23.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's anyone's passive, surely.
You manage to hop down out of the bed. Luckily, just before you hit the floor, you splay your legs, catch yourself with your hands on the floor. Your armor makes no sound, and you find yourself in a strange, like you're playing a game of Twister with the just starfished form of one who's laying on the floor. Very comfortable, still snoring her head off. And there's no sound.
Okay.
No
Then
one stirs.
I will cast invisibility myself. And head out the door.
You open the door.
Right.
Fives immediately stands to attention and turns around.
I go,
You see the automaton just nod at you, turn back around and start scanning up and down the corridor once again.
Hi.
I don't think your directional mic picks up whispering very
oh,
well.
okay, right, okay. That's fair. I whisper, but I won't. I whisper, I'll be back in a little bit. Don't jump.
Again, there's a subtle, very subtle nod from Fives. He doesn't move, he just keeps scanning up and down the corridor.
I very quietly close the door and then walk down that thing. I would like to think at some point over the 2 hours I've been sitting there, I've changed back to infiltrator to make it less fun, by the way.
Yeah. You've had ample opportunity for a short rest on this trip.
I just hadn't said it.
That's fine.
Okay. And then I will go down to where the cattle are resting. Moo.
Okay. As you enter the corridor then, a few of the doors are slightly ajar. You can see almost the condensation kind of pouring out of them. Oh no, steam kind of pouring out of them. It's quite hot in some of these rooms. I'm going to need you to roll me a stealth check to make it down the corridor.
Guidance. And these two, still with advantage, I'm going to assume.
Mhm.
I'd love these fuckers to hear me. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Okay. You make your way down the corridor. No sounds coming from the other compartments apart from snoring. You can hear someone talking in their sleep in some strange language. Can you speak Draconic?
No? Can my professor roll?
I don't know. Ask them.
You never,
But you snuck off.
you never specified what languages Vizier can speak. He speaks 4 languages fluently, but I don't know what they are.
You never asked.
Hey, I go, I think, obviously,
Okay.
not out loud. I go, Vizier, what language is that? Do you speak it? What were they saying?
What were they saying?
In their sleep?
I do believe my ability to translate different languages was perhaps damaged when I was kept in the demi-plane inside the bag of holding. But I believe they were talking about salmon knocking on their door.
That's actually super cute. What languages do you speak, roughly? I know you said it's damaged, but what are we working with here? I've never asked you. I know
Not,
you're super-
not including common?
Not including common. Other languages, if you please.
I speak I suppose you would call it the machine language of my people. I speak Draconic. I speak Elvish. And I suppose a smattering of Orc. It's not that difficult. Some Goblin, which again, not that difficult. And a substantial amount of Abyssal.
That's a bit left field, but okay. The Elvish thing, that's handy. If we come across any elves and they're well, you pay attention anyway. I can probably assume you're paying attention.
At all times, yes.
I speak Elvish.
Yeah, but you can't give, you're not there. I know my friend Ori speaks Elvish, but unfortunately she can't give me a running commentary on what's being said. But if you wouldn't mind, if elves start speaking in Elvish in front of us, if you can run a translation for me, that would be incredibly helpful. This is while I'm stealthing along the corridor, just having a little conversation in my head.
As long as that last bit of Draconic isn't evidence that my translation powers have been damaged, then yes, of course.
I think it was someone who was asleep. I think that was their dream.
Ah, you dream, mortals, when you are sleeping?
Sometimes to our detriment, yes, we do.
And you dream of salmon knocking on doors?
No, although I did have one very weird dream once where I thought I was being buried in boots.
Boots.
You know, that you wear on feet.
Your brains are strange and wonderful things, aren't they?
Thanks. I also believe...
I should like to study one at some point, if I can.
If I ever get the chance to take one apart for you, I will. Ideally after the person is already dead, okay?
From what I've seen, you do tend to leave a lot of people that way.
Only if they start it.
I am not judging. I cannot judge. I am merely stating a fact.
Well, thanks. How close are we to the door?
The door that you opened and bumped into Natasha, it doesn't take you long, but you do eventually get to it.
Okay.
It is locked.
Yeah, I'm going to... How long does it last? At this point, I'm going to cast See Invisibility as well.
Okay.
So I am invisible, I can see invisibility, and I have Disguise Self active.
Okay.
Only one of these is concentration. These are magic spells and I like them.
Okay, no problem.
I'm going to try and pick the lock as quietly as possible.
Okay. Do you have thieves' tools?
Yeah. Basically.
Then dexterity check plus your proficiency, please. Well, double your proficiency because it's a tool you are proficient in.
Yes. Dexterity. Yay. Wish me luck. I don't think I can use guidance for this, can I?
Yes, skill check.
Ah, nice. Even better. Right, guidance first then. Roll that. This one. Okay. That's not bad. And then proficiency. So that is 13, 14, 15, 20, 21, 22.
Okay. Doesn't take long. with a click that is barely audible even to you, and you are crouching right next to it, the lock turns and the door slides open.
Good.
There is darkness before you. Whereas up until now, to increase the comfort of the passengers and not blind them every time they leave their darker rooms to go to the toilet of an evening, whatever light sources or the crystals that seem to light the corridors of this train are dimmed during the night. It would appear that in the carriages beyond or behind the one you are currently in, there are no crystals at all. There are no light sources. Fortunately, you are wearing goggles of night. And as you look down, you realize that these are not compartments. They are effectively jail cells. There are no doors leading off the corridor, but just barred gaps. And you can hear, instead of snoring, groaning, the shuffling of many feet.
Does it look like they've been fed? Do they have any water available to them?
There is a horrendous stale smell that hits you, but as you walk then further down the corridor and look in, these aren't badly mistreated people. They all in fact seem to be quite healthy. They do have food. As you walk past, you can see some of them reaching into hidden pockets in their robes, eating bread. There are stacks of many, many bowls pushed up against the bar of food, which look to have slowly drying food remnants in them. And there is a large, appears to be pail of water in each one, with many cups sitting next to it. Very few of them are actually drinking currently. It's about half full. You get the feeling that they're rationing it, drinking it slowly.
How many people total?
Each of the small cells is about the size of the compartment you and your friends are in. Whereas there are 6 in your compartment, there are about 20 in each cell.
Wow. But how many total of humans?
As you keep walking,
So quietly.
into the next carriage, and the next carriage, and the next carriage. How far do you want to go?
I see how many humans are here. And okay. I also specifically want to look for the skinny ones or the ones that look like they aren't the ones that aren't well cared for, the ones that are being pushed to the back, don't have food and water, don't, the ones that look like they're suffering.
Okay. Roll me a perception check then as you go.
You want me to say guidance every time I do things like this? He's going to get you 9.
I do.
Okay.
Because I will call you out on it when you don't.
One day I might forget. Okay, so
you do guidance when you're being stealthy and quiet? It's got a verbal component, hasn't it?
It might do. I'll check now. She could be right. You know what? Kirk's right. I can't.
Okay, cool.
I got a 15.
I told the teacher. Do I get a gold star for telling on Millie that she was being naughty?
It depends.
I'd give you inspiration, but you've already got it.
Hang on. Can I query though? Because if the humans are shuffling around and talking and moving, when we say a verbal component, it could just be me going. No one's going to hear that. So it depends if you count it loud enough that a verbal component wouldn't be heard, and I'd know that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but if you rule it that way, then what's the point of sorcerers having subtle spell, right? Like if you can just cast spells quietly anyway. Subtle spell must exist for a reason.
Otherwise, you would never be able to cast magic. Like another person would never be able to cast quiet magic, and that's nuts. Surely you can whisper a verbal component.
That's what subtle spell is for, isn't it? Like that's sorcerers have that so that they can cast spells with a verbal component stealthily.
There's also every time Ariana's had her voice stopped by a wild magic surge.
That's
if I could have just mouthed them.
I'm not saying mouthing. I'm just saying whispering. So it can be heard, but it's not like I'm not sitting there going, for there. because that would be silly. So it's more like,
Sorry.
need a DM ruling.
Spells have
in
to
this world.
spells have to be uttered in this world loud enough for them to have some impact. So no, unfortunately, you cannot while you are stealthing.
That's fine. Next time I will just ask you whether it's loud enough in the background that I could get away with saying something quietly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Fine. Anyway, my perception check on this occasion is 20. This is all
20.
new, so I just wanted to.
Okay. So,
Rolled a 15.
as you're walking past the cells, then you do notice that there are no one in there is malnourished. No one in there is ill. The weakest among them, there are quite a few old people, elderly men, women, and children. They seem to be being not pushed to the back of the cells, but as you look closer, it's almost like they're being shielded at the back from any abuse that might come from people walking along the outsides of or past the cells. You eventually get to a carriage that has no cells in it, but is full as far as you can see down into the darkness along the long carriage. Boxes.
I do not touch them.
Some of them give off a chilling, cold aura.
I do not touch the boxes. But what I do is while I'm in this room, I do.
No.
While I'm in this quiet room, I'm going to. You might make me do an Arcana check. I need to know something. If I cast a spell into the bag of holding, will that affect the bag of holding? I want to cast Create Food and Water, right? That's the thing. But I want to drop it into the bag. So I could cast it just above it, I guess, and have it drop in and hold the bag open.
So, create food and water in a bag of holding. Yeah? Okay. Give me a second.
I love it. It's shenanigans as fuck.
I'm really quizzing the DM tonight, guys. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Just
That's all right.
causing a
He's
little
going to
chaos.
set precedents today that I'm going to use to really mess with his game in the future, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I mean, I'm not going to cast it directly into. I'm going to cast it just above it and hold the bag open to let the food and water fall in, because it either creates it on the floor or in an available receptacle nearby.
In containers within range.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to fall into a container. That's the thing. It can just go onto the floor, which implies that the water will
Is
come.
the bag holding a container?
Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
Definitely.
You're going to fill the bag of holding with soup.
Food and water separately, but yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, so it's on the ground or in containers within range. So it does imply that that the water would come packaged in such a way that you're not just going to flood your bag, because that would be stupid.
Oh no, you flood your bag.
But it says you can summon it onto the floor. It specifically says that. And if you can summon it onto the floor, then it would automatically generate containers. Otherwise, you're just throwing water at the floor, and that'd be a real waste of a third level spell.
No, you can cast it into containers within range.
No. You create 45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water on the ground or in containers within range, enough to sustain up to 15 humanoids or 5 steeds for 24 hours. It does not.
Yeah, I would say that as you were just casting the water onto the floor.
The water and just food in a pile, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Are there any empty buckets in the room full of dead things?
Hey, did anyone leave a bunch of Tupperware in this room by any chance? Is this a storage room full of Tupperware?
No, but it might be a storage room for the buckets that they've used to actually give water to the humanoids, was my thinking. I'm not just assuming there's random buckets on the train.
Roll me.
You walked into the bucket carriage?
Roll me an investigation check.
Investigation check. Okay.
You're lucky there's a bucket merchant travelling on this train.
Because she'd have buckets.
There you go. Buckets, get your buckets.
Altair suddenly walks into the room with a trolley full of buckets.
Hello, my friends. Bucket.
Minute
Buckets.
Bucket.
Okay, this time I'm in a separate room. I'm going to use guidance.
Okay.
Pack yourself with some
Invisibility, yeah.
buckets.
That is a 70 plus, what did I get on the guidance? 4, okay, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and then my actual investigation, 25. Are there any buckets?
Give me a second. Mel,
I'm having so much fun.
invisibility, yeah?
Oh shit.
You've cast guidance, yeah?
Shit.
Well, if I knew it was going to drop the invisibility,
Well, if you read invisibility, it ends if you attack or cast a spell. You haven't been invisible since you unlocked the door.
no, that would be incredibly stupid. So if I'd noticed I dropped invisibility, I'd have just recast it using a higher level slot. And
Take
then
off.
I wouldn't
All
use
right.
guidance.
Okay. Take off the higher level slot and I'll let you.
I'm genuinely not stupid enough that I'd have gone, this is fine, la 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 la.
Take off the extra slot. We'll say you cast it again. That's fine.
Sorry, guys, I don't know if you're hearing it, but my chair is very noisy today.
We can't hear you, Chair. It's fine.
Oh, sick.
In which case, I also wouldn't have cast. Well, I wouldn't have cast See Invisibility, so I'd have cast it at the same slot because that would have been the third slot. Because I couldn't have cast See Invisibility because it would have dropped invisibility. So, yeah.
It hasn't actually helped you in any way so far, anyway, so it's fine.
No, so we've lost nothing and we're good. Look, it's a lot of spells to keep track of. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Okay, buckets.
What was your investigation check?
25.
Okay. You don't find any buckets.
Oh no, sorry.
this-
No, I had guidance in that. 21.
I thought you weren't casting guidance because of the...
Invisibility.
Oh, right, 25 with... Right, I see what you're saying.
Okay, 21, right. Yes, so there are no buckets in this room. However, there are a couple of empty,
There's a bag of holding, and when you reach into it, it's filled with buckets.
there are a couple of empty, large, like 10-gallon barrels. They don't seem to have anything in them. The interior of the barrel, as you look in, is soaking wet. They appear to be what the guards have been using to fill the buckets in the cells already. There are many more similar barrels nearby that are full of water. These appear to be, at least at this end of the carriage, the provisions for the slaves.
Okay. As I'm not that bothered about the water, it was more the food I was trying to get hold of,
Okay.
but it creates both.
Mhm.
I will create food and water, but I'll cast the water just into the barrel where it can stay. I'll just
Okay.
refill the barrel. But I will, the food I want to fall into the bag of holding. It only lasts for 24 hours anyway, and then it'll vanish. So
Okay.
that'll be confusing when they go to fill the buckets up.
Okay.
Back in with the elves.
The spell goes off without a hitch. The bag feels no heavier, but you can smell food coming out of it.
Yeah, it's bland but sustaining. It's nothing exciting.
What do you want to do with the food?
So then I will recast invisibility.
Okay.
Because otherwise it doesn't work well. And I will walk slowly back down, looking for the ones where there are people being hidden away or who you know, basically for the people who look hungriest, just so I can give them a little bit, but rather than being really obvious, I'm just going to put it through the bars and try and make sure no one notices. So it's just going to look like food's randomly appearing inside the cells all along.
Okay.
It's only enough for 15 people to fully sustain them, but as a little snack for a few extra people as I go along, I think that should work.
By the time they notice you've got to the second cell, you hear some exclamations from the people in the first cell. They are hurriedly quieted by others who shush them. You can hear the shuffling of feet. You see the food being picked up. That noise travels to the second cell, and as food appears out of your invisibility and is left in the cell, you can see people immediately notice, and this time quietly reach forward and pick it up. They immediately, instead of sharing it amongst themselves or eating it, take it to the rear of the cell, and you can see them parceling out the small amount of food you can share between all of these people to the children. Some of the children try and force the food on the elderly and the infirm, who smile quite warmly at the children and say no and allow the children to eat it themselves.
If I see this happening in specific cells, that's also not okay. So I will give them a bit of extra cheese and bread that I already had, just to try and sustain those people too. We can have an empty bag by the time I'm done, but I'll be happy.
It happens in all of the cells.
I do what I can, even if I use everything I've got on me. We can eat in the canteen. We've got enough money. It's fine.
Okay. It takes you maybe an hour in total to get back up all of the cells, but at the end, your bag of holding has no food left in it, no pastries left in it.
Fine.
You've got your trail rations, all of the sandwiches and all of the train food given to you by the owner of the tavern that you just frequented is gone. All of the food you've just created is gone. There is crumbs.
In the barrel.
There are crumbs of croissants left in your bag of holding, and that is it.
Do you mean croissant?
Croissant. Fine, I will, without saying a word, I'm not going to make it really obvious who I am or what I'm doing. I'm just going to very quietly open the door, leave, and then I'm going to turn and attempt to lock it if there's no one in the corridor.
On the side you were on then, in the slave carriage, there is a catch. You click it past, and then as the door closes behind you after you've stepped through, you can hear it lock.
Fine. I will very quietly make my way back to my room, but when I get close, I will walk into the toilet, use the toilet, because I'm running out of spell slots.
Okay.
Drop invisibility while I'm in there and just walk back in as my half-orc self and climb quietly into bed with Ori and go to sleep.
Okay.
And then I'm done faffing around. Sorry, guys.
That's fine.
Okay.
I need to do a character thing.
You've taken such a break.
Yeah, I was going to say,
we're really
as
miss
you
those spell slots when we get ambushed in the night.
as you
I don't use spells.
drift slowly off to sleep, you hear a ticking.
It's a pipe bomb.
It is a familiar ticking to you, but it's impossible, the sound. It shouldn't be here, because it immediately reminds you of growing up in Nidum and the gnomes that taught you everything you know about your artificery. Their small temple to your god had the most intricate clock you have ever seen. When on feast days, on festival days, the clock it had a calendar inside it, so it knew what day it was, and it put together beautiful dioramas and renditions of myths and legends for everyone to see. But there was always a rhythmic, incredibly distinctive tick, 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 tick.
Snape.
And growing up
Snape.
with that sound, almost like your heartbeat was in sync with it. You can hear it now, almost as if you are once again sitting in that temple. And there is an overwhelming feeling of like a proud parent has just hugged you for a job well done. You feel the smile of a gnome god and the brush of their lips on your forehead. And a small voice says, "Thank you." You feel like potentially using your magic gifted to you in no small form by the gods, using your magic to do something that good for no other reason than just to help may have earned you at least a favor tonight.
Aw.
And as you go to sleep, you feel you and your friends are potentially, at least for now, the safest you have ever been.
I go to sleep really happy. I go,
And if you got inspiration, Mel,
No.
you can have inspiration for that.
thanks. I haven't had inspiration for ages. I'm not funny enough.
It's there. Greg's not funny. It's bad puns. I told
Excuse
you.
me,
I told you.
fucking
Bad
hang on a
puns.
minute.
If it was a
Hang on a
good, if
minute.
it was a good pun, I wouldn't give him inspiration.
That's
It's
not right.
bad
I made a
puns.
fantastic joke the other night, and you told me out you were going to give me minus inspiration.
Exactly, because it was a fantastic joke.
No, it wasn't. It was a shitty pun.
Right, but yes, it is 2 minutes to 9.
And I can't
So
breathe.
that wonderful charitable act has taken us right up to first break, or not first break, the only break.
Holy break.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, first break, 1 o'clock tonight. Yeah, but first break. But yes, please, we'll be back in about 15 minutes. While we are off getting drinks and things, please pop over to lokibattlemats.com or search them up on Facebook or Twitter. On Twitter, it is @Battlemats UK, or pop onto Etsy and search for Blink Dog Dice, all one word.
I am seriously wrestling with myself over one of the sets on Blink Dog
I
Dice.
really want.
So-
is it cappuccino?
It
that
is the
order?
cappuccino
Yeah, I
one.
want the
So,
cappuccino ones as
If
well.
everyone,
Fucking
if everyone
beautiful.
could please pop over to Blink Dog Dice on Etsy and buy
And
the
check out.
cappuccino ones, so that it will sell out and I won't have to
Yes.
that will stop me from buying it. That would be very
They're-
helpful.
They're beautiful. They are stunning, and I really, really want a set. But yes,
They look tasty.
They do.
Yeah,
They
I
look
wanna
like
I want to eat those click
they would
wraps.
smell and taste like coffee. But yes, we're going to be gone. We'll be back in about 15 minutes. Please don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a bit.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. No.
Is AD gone?
I can
think
still
Lady
see.
might have actually logged off.
No, I can still see my face.
Yep, I can still see us
Yeah.
on the
YouTube, but I'm sure he'll stop.
I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Oh.
Count me in.
Don't need to be counted in. We're in.
We're in.
Hi, yes. Welcome back to part 2.
He's such a bastard.
We were all looking at Blink Dog Dice. So.
Yeah, welcome back to part 2 of episode 56.
You guys all failed. Yeah, you
Chronicles of
guys all
Nidum.
failed to save me. I went to the cappuccino set. It wasn't out of stock, so I have had to buy them.
But yes, welcome back.
No choice.
So, you wake, all of you, the next morning.
You have a long rest.
You all have had a long rest.
Hey.
Do I still get a long rest?
It depends. As Ori tries to climb over you to get her to bed, do you want
Wings
to
and all.
go with everyone else, or would you like to just stay in bed for a little bit, stay asleep as they talk?
I go. I'm sleepy.
Okay.
Okay, you sleep in.
So you can have a long rest as well if you want.
Thanks.
My
I was going to say
question
I don't
is,
need it, but I used so much.
is there anything in particular you would like to do with your days on the train?
Read me a book.
Read your book. Ace?
Once I wake up, I'll do that too.
Not at the moment, really, because there's not much I can do on the train.
Okay.
I was reading a book.
You can continue to read your book
I'll
as well if you
continue
want.
reading my book.
Sepsis?
Yeah, I don't feel very comfortable reading the book in a little carriage with people.
Okay.
So I probably will not.
Okay.
I can't really think of an activity for a train. No, I don't have anything in particular.
You don't want to go and look for a quiet place or anything like that?
I mean, I'm still going to be on the train. I'm thinking sepsis doesn't feel secure most places.
Okay.
Like, I doubt there's going to be somewhere on the train that's going to feel sufficiently private for them. And plus, they know that Natasha is on here,
Mm-hmm.
so wouldn't necessarily feel super keen on wandering out in case they run into them.
How long is left in your thing to read the book?
Lots.
Definite.
You guys have a time frame.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of waffles.
Sepsis doesn't.
Waffle is becoming a Dark Lord.
I am Waffle.
That is his Darth name. Obviously,
Darth
when you become a
Waffle.
Sith Lord.
Waffle.
Okay. So is there anything else you were going to do then while everyone else kind of settles down and reads their book?
I can't really think of anything. I can't do alchemy around these people. I can't do reading a book. No. I'm just gonna be here, not making any noise and pretending that I don't exist.
Okay.
Till something goes wrong.
So, over the next couple of days then, you start to get into a routine. One of you goes to fetch breakfast while the others settle into the most comfortable position that they can and opens their books. You take it in turns, but over the next 3 days, waiting for the proposed meeting with Natasha in the dining cart, Ori, Dice, and Ace, you have read your books.
Yay! 48 hours. Well, no, we've only done 10, so we'd have to do 30 hours in 2 days before Natasha.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel reading from morning
3
till
days.
night?
So we completed it.
3 days from getting onto the train.
So I can't remember what mine was. It like added intelligence.
Okay.
didn't it?
The book's in your inventory.
Yeah.
I know, I'm just bad at remembering.
It's all right. I've got it here. Okay, so Ace, would you like me to do the amendment on your character sheet? Because I've got it open in front of me.
Yes, indeed, I would.
Cool. Okay. So you are reading a tome of understanding, through which you gained intuition and insight through many different exercises. All of the words were charged with magic. Your wisdom score has increased by 2. And give me a second. Okay. There we go.
Rich, if you just go into the equipment and use the
Just
book,
equipped it.
you just equip it and use the book, just do it.
If you just click next to it to equip it, it adds it all in automatically.
Magic.
It didn't used to.
It does now. I just did it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I just double checked because I unticked mine and ticked it again,
Okay.
and my dex went up.
Yeah. So you now no longer, Ace, have any minus modifiers.
Yay!
Woohoo! Okay. So your wisdom is now 11. You don't get a plus modifier, but it's not a minus anymore. Dice.
I've done mine. My intelligence has gone up to 20.
Cool. Okay. And then Ori,
My dexterity is now 12.
you were reading the dex one first, weren't you? Yeah, cool. Okay.
I'll have the Tome of Leadership to start reading eventually.
Okay.
Not you guys, the dogs. Get out. Get out. Get out.
Kiva just starting up a lawnmower
Yeah, sounded like it.
or a motorcycle.
Don't be silly. That would be
Cool. So, on the third day,
We rose again.
My true love said to me.
after finally finishing your books, you find yourself coming to the evening. Time for your meeting in the dining carriage with Natasha.
Natasha.
Reg,
Yeah.
you were going to get me to roll stealth rolls for the nights that I went out.
Yes, roll me 2 stealth rolls.
Okie dokie, hang on. Stealth is not affected by my... that's not the right dice. That's the right dice. I threw the dice.
Oh, my baby.
My stealth for the first one is 17.
17?
Mhm.
Okay.
The second one is much better. It's 22.
Okay. The first night, you unfortunately stumble slightly while you are trying to get rid of the water into the barrels. Unfortunately, the barrels haven't gone down as much as they should have. This time, perhaps the guards are neglecting their duties, so you end up soaking half of the storage compartment. The guards do seem slightly more vigilant after they notice this, but they do just miss you on their patrol. It takes slightly longer, but only a little bit. You're not up too much later, but you do manage to distribute food again between all of the different cells.
Okay.
The last night, they've almost come to expect it. You've got people around about the same time, again, waiting. And as soon as the food is taken through, it is taken straight to the back. The children, as you watch them all, seem much happier. This time, you do notice that a few of the more elderly people there are forced to take food. The children won't have it. One of them you can see has squirreled away some food from the night previous. So when the elderly, elderly slaves are saying no, they pull out another handful of food and say, it's fine, it's okay, you can take this one. It's a strange sense of community you find in these carriages. They are looking after each other.
Good.
Helped by their invisible food fairy.
A fairy.
On the third evening, coming up to 9 o'clock at night, time when everyone in the dining carriage would be doing nothing but drinking, who will go? Oriana?
I'll go. Sepsis is bored as hell.
I would like to go in Guardian Armor automaton form. Go with as backup.
Okay. Ace?
Yeah, I'll go with the same face I had last time I was in the carriage with sepsis.
Okay.
We're not letting anyone do this alone.
All right.
Change.
Okay. You all make your way then to the dining carriage. Sepsis and Ace, you weren't here this late last time, so you didn't see what happens after food stops being served. But as you enter the dining carriage now, all the tables that were once fixed against the walls have been folded down and are almost invisible. They just look like the wooden paneling of the walls of the carriage. What appears now is, it looks wider now the tables have disappeared or been folded away, and there are just round tables set out, much smaller than they would be in a normal-sized tavern, but you get the feel that you've just walked into a tavern. Perhaps a tavern on the sea, as the sway of the carriage, as the train progresses, feels like waves rolling under your feet. There are very few people in there. There is a gnome barman and a very old male elf sitting at the bar.
Can I see who be Natasha?
There is no one else in the bar.
I head up to the bar.
There's no one sort of seating anyone or anything like that. It's just a free-for-all.
Just a free-for-all.
Okay, I'll take a seat with everybody then.
Okay.
And I head straight over to the bar.
Okay. As you get to the bar, the gnome looks up at you. Oh. What do you currently look like, Ori?
Myself.
Cool, okay. Oh, big horns.
Yeah.
Nice. Drink?
Yes, please. Can I get a pitcher of ale and a couple of glasses?
It's more of a wine and spirits kind of bar. I'll have a look.
Whiskey. I want whiskey.
In that case, a whiskey for my friend, and I'll have a mead.
Glass, bottle.
Yes, preferably in a glass bottle, yes.
A
What
glass
other
of
kind do you
whis-
have? Stoneware?
A glass of
actually,
whiskey and a
yes.
bottle of mead.
I will, of course, yes. And he very quickly pours a glass of whiskey from a stoneware bottle, and then hands you over a bottle of mead as well and some other glasses. Would that be all?
I'll have the whiskey as well.
Another whiskey.
Pours again the whiskey into the glass.
Stand there
Like-
looking at his sad automaton.
Will that be all?
Yeah. Oh, just 2 glasses with the mead.
Okay. Would that be all?
Yes.
Right. That will be 7 gold, 4 silver.
I pay him.
Thank you very much.
I sort of glance Ari a look like, this is more expensive than even the tavern that we were in.
I think it might have to do something with being on a train.
I hate Shaolin.
Oh, by the way, I'm
I
going to
didn't
pour a
say it
glass
out
of
loud,
mead.
I just gave a look. That sort
I
of
point
insinuated that.
at Dice and look at the barman, going, "Don't be alarmed if you see the automaton drink." it just seems to put people at ease if it's seen eating and drinking. It just goes into a little storage area.
And you find that puts people at ease? Because I will say now that's going to have the opposite effect on me.
Asking a lot of
That's
questions
why
for
I
someone who
warned
just
you,
got
just
paid
in
seven.
case. But
You're asking a lot of questions for someone who just got paid $7
it isn't. It's
for
just
4 drinks.
I'm just giving you a heads up. The automaton does sort of eat and drink.
Was it broken in one of the wars?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. They all go a bit weird. You can get them repaired in the capital. It's quite cheap. I know of a shop.
Oh, you'll have to write down the details for me.
It's my cousin's brother's mother's uncle's shop.
Your cousin's also your cousin's brother is also
Your cousin,
your cousin.
meaning your uncle's brother would just be a distant uncle. It's fine.
No,
it's fine. Just
no,
write
no,
down
no,
the details for me.
No. He runs an adoption service. He's my cousin, and his name is brother's mother's uncle.
Could you write down where they are?
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks. I should get her fixed. It fixed.
I think this guy needs to be fixed.
What, my cousin?
Oh.
Out of curiosity, what's your name?
Hops.
Hops. Oh, thank God you've got a normal name.
Hops and barley.
Normal by what definition?
I don't even know anymore, Sepsis. Anyway, yeah, if you just write down where that shop is for me.
Will do. Then he writes it down and hands it to you.
Thank you. I'll head over to wherever Dice is.
Okay.
Are you sat at a table?
I'm just going to lean a little bit closer to Hops and Barley and say, I don't like you.
I get that a lot.
I'm unsurprised.
I grow on people. I'm like mold.
In some ways.
You're not the
Unwanted
best
and needed
descriptor for yourself.
Are you sat at a table, Dice?
No, I'm standing beside your table, looking ominous and confused.
Okay, I pull out a chair and point at it for you to sit.
I sit, but try and maintain a really rigid.
Yes, I'll put the glass in front of you and pour you a glass of me and go, I've told him you're slightly broken and you still think you can eat and drink. You can just drink it, Dice. Also, this is a known repair shop in the capital you might want to visit.
Run by his cousin's mother's brother's uncle?
No, his cousin.
No, his name is Cousin's mother's uncle.
Cousin's brother? I'm into it. Thank you.
He himself is a cousin.
His cousin is mother's brother's uncle.
Noted. And I stick a metal straw into the meat and stick it through the visor.
You've all got it wrong. It's
emergency
brother's
induction board.
mother's uncle.
No, you said cousin's brother's mother's uncle.
His cousin is
Right.
brother's mother's uncle.
That's
fucking
exactly what I
right.
said.
Have we got it wrong? Or are we winding you up?
I said it exactly right and then Bro corrected me. Fucking run it back.
So you're all sitting at the table.
I'm guessing the old man over there is Natasha.
Possibly.
Well, she's late and it is an old man.
Are they an old elf?
Yes, an old elven man.
I'm gonna shout across in Elven, do you want to join us?
Throw a dagger at him.
Okay. So you shout across in Elven, do you want to join us? He kind of looks over and in Elvish just goes, fuck you.
Oh, those are fighting words.
Does
And
Vizier
just-
translate it?
And just go, yes, Vizier, translate it. And just, he said, fuck you. And then Jesse kind of just goes back to his drink.
Or maybe not.
Actually, still could be.
The gnome comes around with like some nibbles and puts them on the table. I'm sorry about him. He frequently rides the trains. He came into a fortune, unfortunately, when his family died, and he effectively lives on the train now. Props up the bar most evenings, has done for about a year. Yeah, not a nice bloke. Well,
Still to hear about his family.
There's about 20 minutes in the morning before he starts drinking again that he's all right. And if you believe the rumours, his family all taught themselves to get away from him. Who do we feel sorry for, really? And he just smiles and walks off.
I make a point of holding my straw, being like at him.
Emergency induction port.
After a moment, you hear a small cough from behind you, Oriana. And you turn, and almost as if she's just stepped out of the shadows, you see Natasha standing there.
Hello, gorgeous.
I am not late.
Never said you were.
I was not talking to you.
An assassin is never late.
Has
Nor is she
everyone got a
early.
voice in their head?
You were not the person who accused me of being late. However, I am glad to see you have all arrived. I cannot remember seeing so much of you, Sepsis, the last time. You have grown in confidence, it would seem.
I had a glow up.
You did.
We went shopping.
Worked quite well.
All right.
Your eyes are different.
Hmm?
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So how have you found your journey so far?
Oh my god, I'm so bored. Do you want us to kill someone? I so want to kill someone.
There's an old rich dude at the bar. I didn't say.
I am thinking about it.
Do what you've got to do, really.
I have
I
come
just
to
sort of
this...
side eye at Ace, like I didn't say that.
I have come to a decision. I expect that your friend has explained what my mission was here. The plans that I was bandying about in my head.
Well, that you had plans, but yeah.
Now that you are here, I have one in mind.
Does it involve mayhem, chaos, fire?
Did murder?
It depends how you interpret the word distraction.
Usually involves me taking my clothes off.
And I can imagine that that would cause much mayhem and chaos. Perhaps fire as well.
Oh, that's boring.
Yeah, if you get the angle right.
Well, what do you know about this train and the trip you have found yourselves on?
It's tedious.
That we're going to the capital.
Yeah. This train at the moment is, at least forward of your carriage, full of the wealthiest from Northern Shalem. They are traveling to the capital to take place or take part in the festivities arranged by the current crown prince as his little brother celebrates his birthday. His little brother, however, will not be there. He's touring Shalem. But so that people can feel like they're involved in the celebration, there will be a grand festival in Shalem, which will include the largest market the Empire has seen in a bygone age. And it will also include games, blood sports. There will be a huge trade there, which is why, as we stop every week...
That's why there's so many.
You have returned, I see.
I have visited a few times. Curiosity, mostly.
They do seem slightly more full of hope. I was wondering who they spoke of when the invisible food fairy was mentioned.
I will explain later.
I have not met a fairy who left food without exacting a terrible price afterwards.
You met many... No, that's a story for another time, I think.
Yes. I have an idea. Each time, after the train stops to recharge, it will take on extra carriages at the back. Each time it stops. This is where slave traders from around the mainland, from around the empire, from all over the continent have purchased space, purchased extra carriages to be added on, to be taken to the markets in Shalem. Women, children, men, elderly, the very young. There are, if the rumors can be believed, which normally they can, quite a few pregnant women there, which go for quite a lot.
2 for 1.
Sometimes, yes. When these carriages get added on, the train will move slower, become more cumbersome. Almost slow enough, perhaps, that if someone were to jump off the train, or if someone, for example, maybe was there to catch them, they could disappear into the countryside and perhaps never be seen again.
How would they get out of...
What was the last word, Mel? Sorry, I missed it.
Cages. How would they get out of the cages and the carriages? Either. Both.
She pats her pocket, and again, there's a musical jingle.
So you would be in the back carriages when they were detached?
Mm-hmm.
But the guards are there during the day. You yourself told me that.
They are. Unless they were somewhere else. For some reason. Investigating a disturbance, perhaps.
Disturbance, you say?
What kind would you need?
Disturbing.
I don't know. My first thought, perhaps, was one of the first-class carriages being on fire.
That could be arranged.
Perhaps the fullest one.
Not one with children in.
There are no children on this train that I have not already accounted for in the rear carriages.
Is any of this going to affect our journey to the capital?
The train will carry on.
Once the fire is out.
Unfortunately, for this to work and for us to free the most people, some will stay. I can guarantee the freedom of the women, the children, the elderly I have already discussed with, do not wish to leave if it will jeopardize the mission, so we have agreed to let them stay. The men, the fathers, the brothers, they have been convinced to stay.
Women and children first, huh?
Well, most of the women didn't want to go. However, I
Someone to
convinced
look after
them.
the children.
Need someone to look after the children. And most of the men back there are either too young to look after children themselves, because they have not had any, or are old gruff farmers who wouldn't know the arse end of a child from...
What's your
Be
What's your
surprised about
motivation
gruff old
here?
men.
Pardon? What's my motivation? Altruism?
No.
Try again.
Never.
You're
You would be surprised. But no, this time...
an elf, aren't you, Natasha? Through and through.
I mean,
In which guise?
it is slightly stereotyping for you to meet the first tall person with pointy ears and immediately assume they are an elf, but yes, I am.
You didn't go through the ritual.
No, I did not. My parents protected me.
So our understanding is most elven children who haven't gone through it were taken to ensure they were put through it.
Yes, I was not my parents' first child.
So they saw their first go through it and decided not to do it for you?
My older brother did not survive the ritual.
Some of you don't survive it?
Not if we resist, no.
Shit.
My older brother did not survive the ritual,
They're killing their own kind.
so my parents, when I was born, had me in secret. I was taken to a different type of training camp when I came of age.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Why only the children? Why only some? Why can't we just detach the carriages?
That was one of the plans, I suppose, but I mean, the train could just reverse and relink them. If they immediately reversed and relinked them, the guards would then be alerted to the fact that the carriages full of humans had been released and would stop and would be on alert and would perhaps catch our friends on the outside as they were helping people off the train.
Depends how big the distraction was. I'm just thinking it seems harsh to only be able to save some of them. I understand that might be necessary, but
It's unrealistic to think we could save them all.
Depends. How have you ever seen the controls of a train like this?
Of course not.
no, I could.
You gave Dice about 5 minutes. She'd work it out.
You
I'm
have
also
traveled...
pretty sure I could disrupt the levitation crystal.
Yeah, what if they couldn't reverse? What if we were to disconnect the carriages and then destroy the track between?
All of them?
Disconnect the slave carriages with a sufficient distraction that the guards on the train don't notice for a little while, and in the meantime destroy the track between the train and the rear carriages.
In addition, I might be able to, with Sepsis's help, maybe, based on a vague experimental idea that we have, if we had a crystal to practice on for the intervening time, theoretically, we might be able to change how it functions. They can't reverse. Maybe, if we have time to work on it between the two of us.
So we need a big enough distraction, a way to stop them from being able to reconnect the track carriages, and maybe even stop them from being able to reverse.
Or stop.
Or stop them from stopping.
The idea of affecting the crystals is one thing, and maybe it'll work, but it feels like destroying the track would definitely stop them from going back. They'd have no choice but to carry on.
depends how far away we were when we managed to destroy the track, so that it was far enough that it was no point walking back. You know, we would need to make sure to travel sufficient distance so that when the track was destroyed, it's a large gap between the two. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
The way the track works is it is invisible to the naked eye. There are large crystals buried at intervals along the entire route from Kalas to Paras. I mean, perhaps if some of those were destroyed.
Or deactivated, if nothing else. But we were thinking about the possibility of overloading them, no longer function. There are a couple of experiments I want to run with the control crystals, but in theory, channeling enough energy into it would disrupt its current function. I can roll an Arcana check against that if you want, Rich, but that's dice theorizing. Theoretically, that could disrupt how they function, so it would require repair, much like a normal track.
How many guards are on the train?
Quite a few.
There are more in the forward carriages in first class than there are in the rear. There are two. They draw straws to take that shift. They do not rotate. Unfortunately, I believe the guards in the front of the carriage are cheating and making sure that the two guards they like the least are always on the same duty.
Okay, 2 in the rear, but how many in the forward carriages?
At least 40.
It's a tall order.
It's a lot to keep distracted.
Well, I was thinking
It's a very long train.
I was thinking perhaps we could kill all the guards and take over the train.
We could put Ori out of the roof, and you could throw fire at one of the carriages from outside. They wouldn't necessarily know what had happened, and then back to the ones in the forward, while we could remain in the back and do what needed to be done there.
I mean, I'm. Yeah, I can start a fire.
He did start the fire.
I definitely did.
That was also in my head.
Always burning.
So do you want me to start a fire at the beginning, at the front?
You can pick a number, and we would probably be able to make it work.
We have.
Are there usually guards in the, I don't know what it's called, cockpit? The pilot's train?
On a traditional train, the engine room, I guess.
The bit that's in charge of making the train go.
Controller?
No,
Train
they
driver
are I suppose the train mage and his assistant are normally the only ones who are in the front, or as you would call it, I suppose, the engine.
How frequently? Hijacking. How frequently are they checked on? Can you find out?
I can.
If we could incapacitate the train mage, we can stop them going back no matter what, and if we know, if we know we've got 2 hours before they'll be checked on again, then we can incapacitate them and just leave the train going forwards and do what you need to do at the rear, and we can try and destroy one of the control crystals behind the train to stop us being able to go backwards. Pull it all together.
If you can change the effects or the working of these crystals, after we detach the rear carriages, could you change those crystals so that they drove those carriages away from the train?
Maybe. We would need to experiment, and to do that, we would have to have access to one. I don't even know if it's possible. It's a theory at best.
I can get you some crystals. They have spares.
Of course you do. Why wouldn't you?
No, they have spares. If they ever needed to repair the train, they have spares.
How technical is train maging? Could someone else reasonably take over if we incapacitated the train mage and their assistant?
I'm not quite certain. I could find out.
Again, I think it would be to do with the spells that you can use to control the crystals, so we can use the crystals to experiment and work out what's cast on them to begin with.
I mean, I can find all of this information out for you, probably. I have a very well-appointed compartment in first class.
How
They
long
do
till
it-
our
they-
next stop?
Should be 2 more days, 3 more days.
When
And we
did you want-
stop in the morning and we leave the morning after.
When did you want to do this? When we're close to Paras and we have accrued as many as possible?
We will
Or-
stop 3 times before Paras. Each time, more carriages will be added on.
So when did you want to enact the plan that we're changing dramatically?
Presumably between the last stop and Paras.
Well, the last stop was not going to include any children. It was only going to be farmers, men. So we were going to enact the plan before the final stop. However, your plan, if we're going to free them all, would have to be after the final stop.
I haven't spent 3 days trying to feed these people for them to end
Be
up in
replaced. We'll just be replaced with more people.
You were all a lot less, I want to say, shiny than the last time we met.
I've been rubbing off on them.
Tends to happen when people you like die, so yeah.
You have, as the kids say, seen some shit.
A lot has happened.
Just said that. Kids say.
What was it Granny used to say? Oh,
Darling, I am 200 years older than you. You will be a kid to me for a long time.
what was it
No,
Granny
we-
used to say? Something about red in your ledger?
Don't get it.
Or watch a Marvel film.
I've watched all of them.
So,
Black Widow. A redhead spy named Natasha.
I'm kidding, Charlie. Do go on.
so, I will find this information for you. You take over the planning, I assume.
Oh, goody. We
Tell
needed
me-
a challenge.
Tell me what you need me to find out, and I will gather it for you. What supplies do you need?
We need the spare crystals gone.
As you are about to speak, the door, not the one you came through, but the door at the far end, towards the front of the train, opens. Standing there is a very tall, very well-dressed, familiar figure. I want everyone to roll me a perception check. Oriana, with advantage.
Oh, shit.
Oh, good. That was my first really good roll of the night.
Yeah, it's a not natural 20.
I
Okay,
rolled a natural 20.
nice.
Got a total of 19.
Ace,
11.
I got
11.
a 6 when it didn't matter, and I'm happy.
Okay. As you look up, Oriana and everyone else, Ori, you turn away immediately and look back out of your eye, at the corner of your eye. But as you look back at Natasha, you see, instead of Natasha, an orc, male, well-dressed, but quite obviously a fighter, standing there, or sitting there, where she was. Out of the corner of your eye, and for the rest of you, you see about to step into the bar, or into the drinks carriage, the Inquisitor. You have 1 round, 6 seconds each. What do you want to do?
I haven't noticed.
You have. What did you get? What was your perception check?
6.
6. Oh no, yeah, you haven't noticed. But you're also sitting there as an automaton, so that's fine.
Did I notice?
need-
With
What did you?
11?
Check
With
something.
11, yes, you did.
An action takes 6 seconds, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to use disguise self.
Okay.
And I will become one of the pink lower tieflings.
Okay.
The rest of you already look different from before, so
Oh,
Sepsis is close enough.
I don't look different from the last time we saw this person.
you were all in cloaks though last time.
You were.
The Inquisitor is the horrible elf who called Oriana arm candy.
Wanted her as a trophy wife.
Fourth
Oh
Tau.
yeah, sorry, I thought we'd seen the Inquisitor more recently than that.
No.
Thinking of,
I fucked I fucked the girl that he wanted to marry him.
Oh yeah, I'm fine then.
Ori,
Yep.
roll me a d20.
Full.
Ah, it's not a natural one. Damn it.
No.
Okay. So you are a pink-skinned regular tiefling.
Yeah.
Sepsis, is there anything you do?
Nope. Play casual.
Okay. Ace, you look like a half-orc anyway, yeah?
How long have we been having this meeting with Natasha? Like 10 minutes?
But yeah, like you've been in the bar carriage now for all of maybe, say half an hour.
The Inquisitor is quite perceptive. Just in case he realizes this is armor, not automaton, I will cast Disguise Self and make myself into a half-orc underneath it.
Okay.
But underneath the armor. So the armor stays the same. I still look like the automaton. Underneath the armor, I look like a half-orc.
Okay, cool.
Really short one.
He
Just
steps
sat
in.
there like muttering.
Yeah,
"Shit,
we're-
shit, shit,
Ace is just going to sort of
shit, shit,
act
shit."
like they haven't recognised them and
Okay.
carry on drinking.
Oh no, wait, I didn't notice. I can't do that. Retcon, just ignore me. I know nothing.
Okay. As he steps in then, on his arm is a startlingly beautiful pink-skinned tiefling, dressed in much more finery than you've seen on the common folk tieflings of the Empire. She looks wide-eyed, young, innocent, no idea what's going on or what she's got herself into, but seems very, very happy that she's covered in jewelry and fine clothes.
Looks like he got what he wanted.
As they both step in,
Oh, shit.
behind him comes two automatons and a swarthy elven guard, not wearing much armor, with a long, thin rapier at their side, a metal gauntlet on one hand, and a leather gauntlet on the other. The elven guard is missing one eye, and you can see that there is a scar going straight through it, and a burn or blast mark that has shocked away, like the side of their hair on one side has burned the skin. He kind of steps around the Inquisitor and scans the room. You can see his one good eye doesn't stop on you, but you see he's like instantly, almost as if he takes like a snapshot of you. And then he moves towards the side of the Inquisitor, offers his hand in deference to the young tiefling, and escorts her to a table. The Inquisitor makes a show of taking his jacket off, sitting down. The automatons take point on either side of him, and his guard then walks up to the bar. In Elvish, you hear, and it is translated for you as well, Dice.
Mm-hmm.
You want drinks from the Inquisitor's personal reserve? I am told you know what we speak. And the gnome you can see him shaking in fear. And he kind of just nods in acquiescence. The guard moves back to the table. The Inquisitor kind of just waits for the gnome, shaking, walks around. There is a golden bottle in his hand and glasses on a tray as he kind of very slowly, shakily walks towards the table and puts the tray down and bows never looks at the Inquisitor, doesn't ask him for any money, and just moves away backwards as quickly as he possibly can.
I'm gonna. Where is Natasha sat relative to me? Is she next to me?
Natasha's opposite you.
Okay, I'm just gonna sort of quietly say, "Did you know he was on this train?"
Mouth it.
It's just, did you know?
I knew there was an Inquisitor on this train. I did not know it was that Inquisitor.
This makes things more difficult.
Does it?
Perhaps, yes.
He keeps an incredibly tight security, Sepsis.
We should return to our carriage.
You say he keeps an incredibly tight security. I traveled with him for months, and his security in Portal was so pure that he lost one of his lieutenants while you were there, seemingly murdered in their own room, in the middle of their own guards, and they have still not caught the culprit. It is, however, being blamed on your group.
That's
And he
entirely
knows
unfair.
And he knows exactly who he's looking for. Because not only is he pissed off with how I normally look, he's pissed off at how I normally look in blue.
I am glad your skin has gone back to its regular color, though.
Me too.
If we stand up and leave now, it's going to look suspicious.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Or, as most people would in this situation, it would look entirely normal that you did not want to be stared at by the Inquisitor.
Yeah, I've
Is
been
the
there.
Inquisitor staring at us?
I'll look. I'll glance over and look.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna look, so you go ahead.
Hell, if he's looking at me, I'll wink at him as well.
The Inquisitor is not staring at you. His guard, however, his good eye is on the Inquisitor. The eye that's almost completely white. There's no pupil or iris to help you work it out, but as you glance at him, you've got a sneaking suspicion that somehow that blind eye is on you.
I wink at him.
No reaction.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, he's not looking at us. Just that guard's looking at us.
Good.
The one that's half. Looks like he should be half blind, but I'm pretty sure that eye can still see.
Yeah, as long as it's not a magic eye that can see through things.
There are certain
Now I'm scared, thanks.
There is a strange hierarchy in the Inquisition. There are only two people above the Inquisitor that he answers to. There is the High Inquisitor, and there is the Emperor. His guard there is one rung below him. He can command armies.
Wonder how much he wants to be Inquisitor.
Not that much.
Hmm.
That burn on the side of his face, he took stepping in the way of a quite powerful spell meant to kill his master.
You know what causes a really good distraction?
Starting a war with the Inquisition?
I was just going to say death.
I mean, it doesn't start a war if no one knows who did it.
Right.
Some sometimes, people just die of natural causes in the night, but it could be very distracting if it happens under your watch to someone very important.
It is only completely natural, though, if they die completely unharmed physically. It would only look natural that way. For example, if they were missing even the smallest of body parts, people would continue to ask questions.
Well, why would they be missing?
That's an oddly specific thing to say.
Good.
A lot of spells are very wild.
Can't imagine that we'd be so careless. How little you think of us.
Why is he on this train?
Going to the palace for the celebrations, I would imagine.
I would also imagine he is returning to the capital is something to do with this. And she takes out of her oak clothing a broadsheet. You would know this as like, you've seen these in Cardiff and Portal. They're the news of the day. First-class passengers are sent these so they can keep up with the news of the Empire. She slides it across the table so you can all see. It's in Elvish. So Ori and Vizier translates for you, Dice. And the headline is Spider Queen captured.
Oh, shit.
To be imprisoned and questioned. And then the smaller headline further down the paper is Rebellion finally coming to a close. 5 out of 6 leaders captured.
Do they list the 5 captured?
It's predominantly a continuation of the story of the Spider Queen. There is only the one sheaf of paper that she's got. The story is cut off and you imagine that there is more to be read, but for now, this is the only bit she's got.
You know where they're holding her?
They will very probably be holding her in the palace.
Do you know who else they have?
The other.
The other 4.
Mm-hmm.
It says 5 out of 6, right?
They're embellishing that. They think they have 5 out of 6. They have 4 out of 6, and a very convincing Patsy, who, if he survives, will be greatly rewarded.
Does the,
Who do they have?
Can someone fill me in on exactly what we're discussing?
Sorry, Sepsis. I'll read the paper.
Okay. I have a suspicion that you are thinking that this is our problem in some way, and I would like to make the case that it might not be.
Yep, yeah, I should definitely not help my girlfriend's mother. That is always really good for relationships.
I'm going to get up and walk around the table and then sit in Natasha's lap.
Okay. And she whispers to you as you sit in her lap then, like smiling and joking, as if she's whispering sweet nothings. Yeah. They have Alvis,
Simon, Theodore.
Alvis, the king of the dwarves.
I got many.
They now have the drow matron mother, though from what I hear, she put up one hell of a fight.
Yeah.
They also have, if it is to be believed, which is why the Dragonborn are now working for them, the queen of the Dragonborn, Kriya. They also think, well, they are a strange race. They are not goblins, they are not elves. They keep to themselves. They are small, long-lived, strange powers. They seem to come from some other plane and only arrived during the cataclysm. We do not know much about them, but they have helped the rebellion when they can and been a great help.
Which one's the patsy?
Sorry, but cut out, and I don't know who you just said was helping the rebellion to come from another plane.
That's all we know.
A strange race, short of stature, green-skinned, but pointy-eared, strange abilities, strange powers. And
who's the patsy?
The patsy. Well, they think they have father.
So another tabaxi.
No, father. The tabaxi was mother.
That's right, yeah.
One of the mothers was tabaxi. But father, let's say the person they have is more like uncle.
Okay.
As long as it's not Clint, it's fine.
Clint?
Nothing to worry about. Okay.
So.
To reach across the table and grab my drink and I just down it.
This, as your intelligent friend says, is not your problem. There are many wheels in motion.
Nice. I don't know that much about romance, I will admit. But I would say, if you were to kill your girlfriend's mother, that yes, that would probably put a real crimp in the thing. But people don't save everyone, the parents of everyone they're romantically entangled with all the time.
I'm not saying I'm deliberately going to throw myself in harm's way, but should the opportunity arise, I also won't pass it up. Is that fair?
No, it's not, because I suspect you are going to deliberately throw yourself in harm's way and bring the rest of us with you.
I think it really depends on the circumstances. I'm not going to put you all at risk if there's no reward for it.
Yes, but my concern is that you think that saving these people would be a reward.
We're already going into the stuff. We're already there. We'll see, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for anything else.
We'll see.
You hear a giggle from the table across the way, and it would appear that they are pouring drink after drink for the Inquisitor's young tiefling companion, who is sinking them faster than they can be poured, and is laughing. The other two aren't really smiling. She is potentially laughing at something she doesn't understand and thinks is a joke. Almost definitely not, by the looks on their faces.
So he's got more than one tiefling girl with him?
No, just the one tiefling.
Oh, just the one. God, the temptation to walk out and come back in as myself.
Definitely.
She does, however, seem to, as you're glancing over from the corner of your eye, clock you, Ori. And she says something to the Inquisitor that you can't quite hear. The Inquisitor just waves her away as he continues to speak to his guard. And she stands up, drink in hand, and kind of totters over to your table slowly.
I grab my drink and stand and sort of meet her halfway.
Okay. In Infernal.
which I do speak.
Mhm.
Thank God.
You'd be a very weird tiefling if you didn't.
Mhm.
In Infernal. Bonjour. It is, I have not seen
I'm
any.
sorry, what's infernal for bonjour?
Hmm?
Well, that'd be
Basically.
abyssal,
It's
really.
not a sexy language.
No. In Infernal then. Bonjour. You have not seen any other tieflings on board the train. It is it's nice to see a familiar face, though you are much prettier than I am. I do not know why I thought you were familiar. I am sorry. There are very few of us. You are very tall.
Thank you. You're very pretty yourself. You shouldn't talk so lowly of yourself.
I am not. I have been told exactly what my worth is by a much more intelligent man than I, who will, I suppose, add me to his harem back in Paras, and I will be well cared for. I hope that is what my parents have wished for me.
You must be very pretty to have the Inquisitor's eye.
Yes.
I'm talking at like a normal level, so he could hear me. As I hear he's a man of exquisite taste.
Yes, there was a long line of us. I was the only one he chose. After the 3 days of vetting, and now I am traveling to the capital of Paras, and though I possibly will never return home again or walk outside the world of his, I will learn to be happy.
You'll be cared for, provided for.
Oui, that is the stories I have heard. That is my hope.
You might even accompany him when he travels.
No. There is apparently one he searches for that he wishes to parade around, but he has not found her yet after losing her. None of the rest of us are good enough, apparently, which is why I am normally hidden away in his compartment. This is my first time out. I threatened to be so loud that the neighbors would hear me, so they brought me. We did not expect to see anyone else in the carriage, as most of the train were made aware of his arrival.
Seems we didn't get that memo. It was a bit of a surprise to us. We're just having a quiet drink. We don't mean any bother. You say he lost one?
I am not supposed to speak of it, so you'll excuse me if I obey his wishes.
Yes, of course. I was only intrigued at the more pure statement. I don't believe a pure tiefling's been seen in centuries.
There is a story told. Fortunately, he has an eye for tieflings, but has not learned to speak more than a smattering of Infernal, so we can speak freely, I believe. There is a story that the tiefling he has lost is also the one of the Kimrian bandits. Have you heard the stories of them?
Here and there, nothing major.
They are more fantastical with each telling, but they have apparently freed lots of human slaves from Tau. They have destroyed a mine in Portal and murdered the high-ranking guard there. They murdered the most respected captain in Tau before they left. They blew up a bar.
I'm gonna say in Infernal, they sound like idiots.
That was going to be my statement.
Even
Who would do?
the worst one, that the story that is attributed to them, is that they are the reason that the young elven prince wears the mask now. They have burnt him.
Wow, so there's a group running around with a pure tiefling saving humans and attacking elves? That
What possible
sounds
end?
far-fetched.
Exactly. There is no reason, but you will excuse me if I say their stories, and I cannot quite explain it, make me smile sometimes when I hear them.
To imagine their eventual execution, presumably.
Oui, d'accord, oui.
What's your name?
Oh, my name, Rosette.
Rosette. I'm Sylvia.
It is a pleasure.
This is a long train journey.
Oui.
We should be friends. If we are hidden away from us forever.
I would like that. It is a long and lonely train journey, and they are constantly doing their rounds and speaking to all of the neighbors that I am not allowed to see. I would like that very much. Perhaps if you meet the Inquisitor, you can offer to be my chaperone while I am out without him.
I'm sure we can arrange that. Even if he wants one of his guards with you.
Of course. I like the automatons. They are quiet. They make good listeners, more than most men.
I have one myself.
I go like this.
Yours is sitting.
I have two. That one's a little broken. We're heading somewhere in the capital to get her fixed.
Her?
I can't help myself. I seem to put pronouns on inanimate objects.
Ah, like a cart. Or
Yeah.
or an horse.
Yeah.
Or
I
perhaps.
suppose they are sort of low maintenance pets.
I have never considered it that way, but we. Please, then come, meet the Inquisitor.
Okay.
I love the enthusiasm. Okay.
Just for anyone who hasn't seen that episode, there is not a person on this planet that Ariana does not hate more than this man.
Yeah.
And Ken.
Mm.
Yeah, Zippy. This guy was a real wanker.
Yeah,
It's a close call.
even I.
There's
even
like
I.
a hairline between.
I
the
almost
two.
killed you at this session. We were in the same room.
Mm-hmm. I felt like I needed a shower after the session.
Oh.
Yes, but Rosette takes you over to the table. She waits patiently as they come to a pause in their conversation. And you can hear in Elvish, and it does not seem to be phasing Rosette at all, but you now, Oriana, can hear the many countless ways that they list that torture of Drow has been successful in the past.
What would I need to roll? Does it be deception that I don't give away that I'm disgusted by what they're saying?
Deception or performance, up to you.
Well, we'll go with performance, because that's a plus 13. Okay, wherever 13 plus 19 is.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
32.
That's high.
Aye.
After 5 minutes of them listening some horrific torture methods, your companion, Rosette, now coughs quite daintily. My lord Inquisitor,
I have found a friend who is even more beautiful than I. She has offered to take me off your hands for the periods of the journey that I am left alone, so that I do not cause you any
It's
trouble.
gravy
and
time.
I have company on this journey to Paris. It's now that the Inquisitor turns and looks at you and starts at the bottom, works his eyes up, and then back down,
It's gravy
and
time.
then meets your face and smiles. And you are as sickened as you were previously in Portal on the date that he went on and explained how you would become his trophy wife and confirmed what the arrangement would be. Of course, you have found a very fine specimen of your race, Rosette. I applaud you. What is your name, young one?
Sylvia, my lord.
And are you engaged currently? Do you have an occupation?
I do, my lord.
Is it one you enjoy or one you could be convinced to leave?
I sort of glance back at Natasha, because Natasha's a half orc, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I glance back at Natasha and then back at him with a grin and going, I am quite satisfied.
Perhaps too rough around the edges then for my household. That can be trained out of you. Find me in Paris if you ever seek alternative employment. I'm there often. You will find yourself surrounded by familiar faces. They all at least speak the language that is inherent to your infernal race.
I answer in Elvish. Thank you for the opportunity, my lord.
Oh, perhaps less rough around the edges than I thought. Please, find me. Consider my offer. But as to your offer to my young companion, she is getting much more troublesome the longer she's left alone in that room. She would be guarded.
Of course.
I do not like to leave any of my possessions out of my sight entirely. I will send a guard with her. Protect my investments. And you will be allowed here. No further down the train.
No, of course not.
And I will send my other guard to fetch you when I think she has had enough time out.
Perfectly sensible.
For tonight, she will return with us.
Of course.
You can have her again tomorrow.
I look forward to it.
And I look forward to one day you realizing what's good for you and seeing you in Paris.
Maybe I will.
Good night.
Good night. I hate him so much.
I really enjoy the sort of full body shivers.
Very hard to be
Internally, I'm
sepsis.
like, bah, bah, bah.
It's so hard to be sepsis when this guy's around.
Yeah, because what you want to go is, you realise you're perhaps.
Yeah, because like I want to kill him personally, like as a character. Sepsis doesn't have anything against this guy in particular. Has no real reason to. It's just so fucking hard to roleplay a character that doesn't hate this fucking guy.
You know, Oriana's been objectified and she's okay, but he just takes it.
It's so slimy, I hate it.
I will say, Sepsis would have one reason to try and take him out, just as a thought. This guy's actively seeking Oriana, and Oriana's with Sepsis. Therefore, you wouldn't want him doing that.
But anyway, Rosette smiles, very, very pleased that you have agreed to accompany her, or at least keep her company during this journey to Paraz. And the Inquisitor rises from his seat, so does his underling. The guards make their way. There is a very small nod from the Inquisitor towards you. A lecherous smile as he lingers on you and takes a few steps back before he turns and stalks out of the carriage. Just as they leave, his underling stops, turns, and stares at you silently. For a
I look
moment.
him up and down.
And then another moment. And holding your eye, steps backwards into the shadows outside in the next carriage, and the door closes behind him.
I grab what's left of the bottle of the mead and just down it.
The gnome comes back around the bar, kind of wiping sweat from his brow. I completely forgot that was tonight. Thought it was tomorrow.
It looked like it went
Were we
well.
not meant to be here?
Your horns got smaller.
You never saw me looking like that.
All right.
It's not worth your life to tell anyone on this train that you saw me looking like that. I will make not only your life miserable, but I will go to your cousin or whatever's shop and make his life miserable if you tell anyone you saw me looking like that.
Sounds like an intimidation roll.
Roll me an intimidation check.
I want to assist by just I'm gonna.
It's cool.
Okay. I was just gonna make my eyes like super black and lean in real close.
36.
36.
That's big. That's
Okay.
a big number.
Or he's very scary.
He might actually die.
Just die of fear.
He does go stock still. You can see there is a cocky confidence in his eyes that drains out like he has just been turned to stone. Any thoughts he may have had of asking for a bribe are now the furthest thing from his mind as he imagines the countless ways that you could murder him and his entire family. He smiles weakly, walks back around the bar, gets another bottle of mead, another couple of shots of whiskey, places them on the table, and walks away without saying a word. You're muted, Charles, I think.
No, I just spoke too quietly.
All right, okay.
I said I hate doing that.
Very effective. Leave him a tip. It'll make him feel better.
It
Guess
is.
needs must.
We use the tools the gods gave us. Yours is quite effective, it seems.
Do you speak Infernal?
I speak many languages. Infernal is one of them. I have some tiefling friends.
Well,
Most not as close to their heritage as you, but there is one.
Did either of you think it was odd
Okay, we'll
that
pick
she
that back
managed
up
to
at a
speak
time.
Charlem in Infernal?
No, she spoke Infernal with a Charlem accent.
She said bonjour in Infernal. It was
It's
very
possible.
weird.
I honestly couldn't understand her, I'm afraid.
Ignoring the fact for a moment that you've seen another pure tiefling, we will be talking about that. It seems we now have a charade to keep up that you're my employer. And please ham it up and make it look like you satisfy me, because I do not want to give that creep an inch.
Or let him give you an inch, because that's all he's got.
Heyo.
That's being incredibly generous, Dice.
If you're not spoken for, we may be able to test it out so you can find out what I'm really like.
I sort of look at Sepsis and back at Natasha going, didn't you say...
Well,
No.
Yes, but I am open to other offers.
No, I would rather not.
Very well.
What is wrong with me?
I'll go back to pining after my Goliath.
I was going to make a pun about stone, but stoning a Goliath is something completely different.
Or a stoned Goliath.
Ooh. Speaking of getting stoned, I just pull out my pipe.
As you begin to light your pipe, the gnome goes to open his mouth. Looks like he remembers who you are, and then goes back down behind the bar.
I sort of look over and go, oh, is it no smoking? And then put my pipe out.
Like to keep him guessing.
They do not.
Dick, I'm not going to smoke on public transport if it's not allowed.
They do not like open flame. The interior of many of these carriages are made of wood. It is not just an aesthetic. It is a cheap but beautiful material.
I'll try not to sneeze then.
Wouldn't it be lovely if we could just set him on fire? There aren't many people I hate that much, but this guy is so lecherous and creepy. I could hear what he was saying to you.
Fire is too good for him.
It's gravy
I want
time.
him
It's
to
pretty
rot
unpleasant.
slowly from the inside out.
I don't know if that's something we can arrange.
I sort of glance at like side-eye sepsis. Maybe one day.
He's just so... Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm totally planning on stealing that girl and taking her somewhere else.
Oh, good. Another rescue. That's what we need. That's fine.
Well, perhaps in one
Another
of your
challenge.
jaunts, in one of your daily jaunts, as we get closer to Paras, she could find herself in one of the rear carriages.
If she were to wander, but she's going to have a guard.
She
And-
seemed to be pretty happy with the life she was going towards.
No sepsis.
She was
I'm
not.
not sure she knows any better.
She's doing as she's told.
You couldn't hear. Dice and Ace.
No, but
No.
I was basing it off assuming Ori had told us.
We've picked up on the mood.
One
She's
does
doing as she's
question,
told.
though, whether we have the right to make people's choices for them.
Well, I'll be having discussions with her.
If
She-
if the Inquisitor were to come to an unfortunate end in some sort of distraction,
So too with her
then-
ride.
Yes, perhaps she would see that she needed to pursue options elsewhere.
And then that guard with the creepy eye will take place, which, by the way, I don't like the way he looked at me before he left.
I still wonder if he can see things he's not supposed to with that eye. It worries me.
Can I do
He
an
appeared to
arcana
be
check on his
constantly
eye?
vigilant.
You can do an Arcana check if you want to. What are you trying to work out? Whether you've...
Whether he can sort of see through illusions or something with it.
It's very difficult to tell.
Okay, you can roll the check.
17.
17. You didn't get close enough to him to really be able to investigate his eye properly or sense whether there was any kind of magical aura coming from it. All you got was a strange feeling which like raised the hairs in the back of your neck. That feeling you get sometimes when you're alone and you feel like you're being watched. There is, from what you can remember from your studies, which
Mind.
as you remember, didn't really apply to you because magic was more inherent. A lot of the spells you were taught could be used with time were alien to you, impossible. However, you remember with that kind of arcana check that there are certain spells, or certain magical effects at least, that can possibly see through disguises easily, like true sight. You'd also assume, though, whether if he could see you, that meeting may have ended very differently.
Yeah, I mean, if he could truly see who I was, wouldn't he have alerted the Inquisitor straight away?
Depends what his motivations are. I'm starting to get the impression that very few elves can be up and up, even with each other. Hence,
Very troubling race.
again, no offense.
None taken. I'm assuming that when you make remarks like this, you speak of my kin that have been through the ritual and not the ones who have not.
That is exactly what I'm referring to, yes.
Of course, the drow themselves are elves, and I'm assuming you do not speak of them when you say this.
A lot of fondness for actually.
Oh, about that. And I tell a more PG version of the drow torture.
Try not to look like I'm taking notes.
That is disheartening to hear.
Yeah. So I kill the Inquisitor and then I go after Ankane, right?
Okay. These are real bad people, and if we are close to where the matron mother is being kept and tortured, and I do not free her, that would not sit well with my conscience.
I don't even know how many drow they've kidnapped.
I
Or
cannot
captured.
control your actions when we get to Paras, nor what I wish to. However, spend some time in the city. Learn how it works. It is very different from anywhere you have been so far, I can assure you.
We have another job to do in Paris anyway. This will not supersede that, nor would it. One is more important to our group, perhaps, than the other. Not necessarily to me personally, but the group comes first. So,
Just
thanks.
be careful when you are there. Trust no one.
Septus has been trying to teach us that for months. It's going very badly.
So far,
I
they
can tell.
trust everyone they meet immediately.
You are being very trusting of me, which is insane.
Aren't they? And isn't it?
So far, it's worked out okay. Eventually, it's going to wind up us being shot at, but actually, that's not so different to other things anyway, so.
I have to wait here until at least I can be certain they have returned to their cabin. You are free to wait with me, but it is getting late. I would believe that you would wish to turn in for the night, as it were.
Your cabin is in first. Oh, Jesus. Should I return to the cabin with you?
No. They have seen a Harfolk. That Harfolk is possibly further back down the train. I will return to my cabin as myself.
And, okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
What time is it, Roach? Is it late enough that I would normally go and visit the humans?
It's come up now that it's coming up to about 11 o'clock at night.
I will be taking my leave for a short time, but I will return once I'm done.
You have to feed the humans.
Yes.
I suppose you know anywhere along the way where I can get some fresh air.
Do I? Like a balcony carriage or something?
There are, between some of the carriages, especially the human ones, the residential carriages towards the front, all of the compartments between carriages are covered on all sides. Between the slave carriages and the storage carriages at the back, there are gaps.
Okay. Yes, how stealthy are you feeling?
I'll be pretty stealthy. I just want some fresh air.
We would have to go through the human carriages to get towards the storage rooms at the back. They have not seen me at all. I've been visible the whole time, but I could go as the automaton with you instead, and we could just walk through.
Would it be strange for me to be... No, it's not worth risking me being seen down there.
It would be strange. You could.
You could, however, just open the window in your compartment.
That'll have to do for now.
There are some nice open air gaps at the back if you did want to come. I don't know if I can. Hang on a second. Let me just search something on my character sheet. 1 second. I might be able to do something. Sorry, it's loading. Very slow. I couldn't. Invisibility is a
Concentration.
can't be twice.
It's fine, Dice. You go ahead and feed the humans. I might sit in here for a bit, actually.
As we have no plans, or at least a few days, until we get to our first stop, I say we get blind drunk.
I might come back and join you as someone else in a bit.
Very well. We would be glad of the company. Tell me, Oriana.
It's Sylvia.
I apologize. Tell me, Sylvia.
Mm-hmm.
Fire.
Da-da-da.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it.
It's gravy time.
Turn on or turn off? And she just smiles at you.
More like a daily occurrence, really.
Ace, Sepsis, are you going to stick around?
No, I would like to go back to the carriage.
Okay.
Yeah, Ace is going to go back as well.
Okay. And Dice?
I'm going on my usual evening jaunt.
Okay. As you all walk back to the carriage then, Dice, you go on your evening jaunt to feed the 5,000. And Oriana, as you say, and get blind drunk, start singing sea shanties
Oh, yeah.
and dancing on tables. The gnome constantly almost forgetting himself and trying to tell you to stop, and then remembering who you are and remaining silent. I think we're going to leave it there. Coming up to 11 o'clock.
I need.
Okay.
I will leave 5 gold for the no.
Okay, you're going to leave 5 gold for the gnome. Remove it from your character sheet, please. Okay.
I have.
Okay. So, you learned a lot. Seen some familiar faces. Some welcome. Some almost definitely not. Oh God.
I hate it. I hate it. So I'm gonna be angry for weeks now.
I like it. It honestly makes me think less of you that you have that in you to pull out. I try not to.
It's easy enough for him to just pull on everything that is completely opposite, though. It's like how you're playing Sepsis. Like
you're not generally a murderer.
Sepsis.
No, I know, and I try to resist it, but like it feels bad.
You resist it. I have to go to bed with him after this.
Yeah.
But yes,
just see Brian get into bed, Millie be like,
Can't touch me.
Hello.
I don't want to cuddle.
It absolutely doesn't make me feel think less of you. I'm so impressed.
I think if you do the voice at Millie whilst you're in bed, then she's just gonna make
grounds for divorce before you're even married.
I don't want to do that. But yes, anyway, AD's got to get to bed. So, thank you, everyone who has watched. Thank you for those who have stuck around. Thank you for those who put up with the return of the Inquisitor and
thanks
are still watching.
To a Sharadel for joining me in a little pun run in the chat.
I'm gonna do my regular Sunday thing after the stream closes. I leave it open and then go back and read the entire chat just so I get to feel involved as well, because unfortunately I can't keep up with it as the DM. But yes, again, thank you. That was the announcement. Sorry, I apologize. Before we do the sponsor bit, we are not streaming next week. AD, understandably, wants to spend Valentine's Day, which is next Sunday,
with his
Yeah, I
lovely
bought my
wife,
gift ready. I'm fine.
which is completely understandable.
Sexy time.
Okay, some sexy
You-
time.
You bought a gift for Edie for Valentine's Day.
Unusual, but okay, I'm into it.
No, I've just bought one for myself.
But yes, so we're not streaming, so that AD gets to spend next Sunday having some sexy time with his wife, which, you know, by his own admission, that is exactly what he's going to be doing.
For another
Is that-
child.
Do you think he yells gravy time?
Woohoo! Gravy time.
Oh, baby gravy time.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm so sorry. No, but yes, so next Sunday we will not be streaming on here. However, I can only imagine
It's very possible we'll stream
that next weekend
Stardew
we're
Valley.
probably going to stream Stardew Valley or something. Yes, so come along to Dice of the Beholder this week if you want to check out a new game. It's called Gunfire Reborn. It's a roguelite, but it's a first-person shooter. Me and Greg are very much enjoying it at the moment. It's just the two of us, but it's a lot of
Cute.
fun. Great animation, very cute.
Mm.
But yeah, come over to Dice of the Beholder to also check out more Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Please go and follow. If you haven't already, please go and follow HEYY_ Charlie, our very own Charlie, aka Oriana, who's over halfway now to Twitch affiliate. So
Yep.
please go and follow if you haven't already, and check
I'm
out
nearly
some
there.
wonderful Sims 4, the Sims 4 Legacy stream
The
you're
Sims
doing
4
right
Legacy Transmode. We've just finished Fallen Order, and I might go and play New Game Plus.
New Game Plus, Inquisitor outfit, New Game Plus.
She's definitely gonna play Mass Effect when that comes out.
If I can work out how to
Absolutely.
get Battlefront to work again, for starters, I might even start streaming Battlefront on
Me and
there as
Charlie
well.
are going to compete in May when Mass Effect comes out.
I thought you were going to play co-op.
It's not
we
being put
can.
into. It's not included in the new release. Co-op won't be available,
Oh, sad times.
Unfortunately,
but we will be
will.
competing for viewers.
and for the first one who can pull Gareth,
Yeah.
the first one to romance
Please.
Gareth.
baby Charlie.
But yes, please go and follow Dice of the Beholder. Hey Charlie. But if you still want a lot more TTRPG content, stay on this channel because there's some fantastic DMs. Well, one main DM, some others who guessed, and some fantastic players, hard workers, all, and some fantastic characters that they play, and they tell wonderful stories together. So please,
Check that out too.
please stay an active member of the community. But as always, because it can't go on forever, stay safe, take care, wear a mask, don't go outside unless you have to, take care of your loved ones.
Your gravy time upon climax.
We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Love you.
Bye.
Good night,
Love you,
everyone.
bye.